What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby, and you back. You back to the greatest thing ever. This audio graps. You know what I'm talking about. It's your boy, the one, the only, Jay, Mr. Producer, the lonely one, Podson Reed. All right, Pod Breaker. You know what I'm talking about.
I like that.
The man is in the building. But enough about me. We're gonna pass it off to my man Y2H, the Quattro, Herico. Break the doors down. Go ahead and take it away.
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero. And we
are he, baby. I got a symbiote on my back. It's spooky season. We're here. And I did not show up alone because you know it's bi-weekly. Because
the OTC of the Monday Night Wave has arrived. Yes, that's right. The OTC, the other co-host, was happening this DT. Let's get it.
That's right.
That's right, brother. It's the mega powers of the triangle, and the mega powers are so triangular that a little pretty boy in a green hat tried to poke me with his master sword. And let me tell you that just doesn't work for me, brother. Not only because of the racial implications, but because of the sexual implications also. So you stay away from me, you cute blonde elvish boy. You're not my Legolas.
All right. That nigga just shout out. He just shouted out Link. It was a Triforce.
That was your Triforce joke?
Yeah. For this week, I got 4 more triangle bits. So, don't worry.
That was the Triforce. That was the Triforce angle he was going with.
Oh,
Shit. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Fuck. Okay. All right, people. Yeah, that was the symbiote hero.
The symbiotic hero.
The symbiotic hero. We don't got a lot for news. Actually, we have zero news entirely. Actually, we can get into it real quick. Y'all want to talk about Mr. Mark Calloway and Glenn Jacobs real quick? Do we want to?
Yeah, I mean, we might as well because everyone else is going to dabble in it. Mm-hmm. Now, look, we all know that most famous people or most people that have a certain tax bracket might lean towards a certain side. You know, that's fine, but when when you do it in such a way that is, or when you're pro MAGA, that's kind of when it deviates from you just being on the right side to where it's like, yeah, you're kind of like part of the problem. And the other week, Taker was like, we're gonna interview Trump or whatever, and then like the jokes was already flying, but then he did a promo for the upcoming episode with him, Glenn, and Trump all on the fucking couch, and this man had the audacity to say, you could, if you want to save the country, you could go with us, or you could choose a Harris, a Batista, in a Waltz. Like that's a bad pick. That was like he's trying to demean us. Like, like you gonna choose me? You gonna choose us, or you gonna choose Batista in someone who's not a dictator? That's wild. That's a wild choice.
Crazy. I respect the booking that he tried to do, but nigga, that shit ain't hot, bro. That nigga, don't nobody care about y'all niggas, bro.
Listen, he is no longer Taker. That man is Mark Callis. We're gonna take him all the way back to his first jobber name. It's Mark Callis. So Taker is dead. That is Mark Callis.
What's that nigga's pod? It was like a walking Mark.
Anyway.
Woo. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't fucking with that nigga over there, bro. Fuck that nigga. All three of them. Aside from that, getting out of like the weird shit. We can like shout out was it Scott D'Amore in the
Scott
Maple Leaf
D'Amore.
Wrestling. Scott D'Amore, and they doing their pay-per-view this weekend. So shout out to Scott D'Amore, who's I think he was like the former like showrunner of TNA.
Yeah.
And so he started his own wrestling promotion up in Canada. Got a couple like AEW people up there. I thought there was some WWE people up there too. I'm not sure, but I
I'm
thought
not
I heard
sure.
that there was somebody in there, or they were
Mm.
either booked for day 2 or something like that. Getting out of the news segment and out of the Maple Leaf Pro. So I was watching AEW this week, right? And I was like, oh, it's kind of cool that they got like the DC, like, you know, aprons. So it's a superhero, like, you know, on the aprons and whatnot. Thought that was pretty fucking cool. And I was like, man, like, you know, what's the off chance that we could see, like, you know, WWE get like, you know, partner with Disney and do like a Marvel like spinoff of that, right? To where you can maybe throw like Roman Reigns and like a Spider-Man comic or some shit like that. I thought that was really fucking tight. And then I sat there and thought about what would be my hero, or not hero, my DC crossovers. Like, what wrestler would I want to see crossover with a DC like, you know, character? And I got a list. And these aren't necessarily like, you know, some are logical, some are just interesting that I want to see. And I was like, I would love for you guys to choose like the WWE side of it. Like, what WWE character would you pair with, like, you know, a Marvel character and whatnot? I'll go through mine. I'll kind of give you what I had going down.
Wait, real quick, before you go, you did know that like Swerve is attached to like one of the comics, right? Okay,
I did see that. Yeah.
yeah, and they, for whatever reason, drew a championship that looks very identical to the North American Championship in NXT, but that's neither here nor there. It's just kind of funny.
I saw like the artwork, but I didn't look at it in detail. I didn't like go pick it up. I want to go pick it up because it's wrestling comics. Like that's right up my fucking alley.
Yeah, no, I feel it.
But I was like, what would like a Joker Darby Allin crossover look like? So that was my first one. To where like if you had a younger version of Joker that was kind of fused with Darby Allin, what would that look like? That was kind of interesting to me. I have Batman and Hangman from like the family aspect. Like, what does a Hangman look like as a Bruce Wayne? I thought that'd be kind of cool to see.
I just had a bad name because I'm trying to connect their names.
What you got, nigga?
Call that nigga Bang Man.
Bang Man? That's all right.
That's honestly not bad. That is like honestly not bad.
Sorry.
That's fucking funny. With the Dynamite ring, I got MJF as Sinestro. Martian Manhunter crosses over with like Cesaro. I think that's a really cool, like interesting one. Due to the Bryan storyline, Yuta as like a Red Hood Yuta. Harley Quinn, Tony Storm, and then Zatanna and like a Willow, like the Magic Girl Willow, and I thought that was kind of dope as well. So that being said, I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't have anything. Like, we come back next week. But I was like, what would be some really cool like hero wrestler merges or crossovers?
First one I could think of, and I'll let hero yay or nay this one, but Seth Rollins and Green Goblin. It's the first thing that came to my mind.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah, no, I'd take it, and especially because like they did the Joker reference with Seth at the Rumble, LA's Rumble, so I could see him as either one of those characters because Green Goblin and Joker are pretty. I wouldn't say they're similar, but they're similar-esque. They have I fucks with that. I like that idea.
Yeah, that's dope as fuck.
I mean, I don't have much. I mean, I feel like this is really hitting a nail on the head, but I feel like Cody and Captain America, Cody and Superman, like I feel like he needs to meet those people and have an adventure with both of them.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, honestly, Roman and Batman would be a cool combination.
That'd be dope.
Kevin Owens and Wolverine.
Okay.
Or Fatu and Wolverine. Jacob Fatu and Wolverine.
Mm.
Yep. The Samoan Wolverine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that. I like that. That would be fucking hard and unstoppable, nigga.
I was thinking, just to jump to AEW real quick, Ricochet and if you were to put him with Marvel, Ricochet and Spider-Man.
See, I was thinking the same thing, but I had Javon Evans and Spider-Man.
That boy bouncy.
I think that should be fucking hard.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool. I thought it was just an interesting concept. I like shit like that because I want to get like what do you call it? Like commission artwork of shit like that. Because I think that'd be really fucking dope to have. All right. Since that's our little comic segment's over, y'all want to jump in the Raw?
Yeah, let's jump in the Raw.
Let's do it.
All right, so the show opens up with Rhea, and she calls out both Liv and Raquel. She's trying to get that 2v1, but who shows up is Tiffy Time, which eventually shenanigans happen, and it sets up a tag match later in the show. I believe, is it the main event? I don't remember. We'll get to my notes. But yeah, so after that is when we get the first match. I mean, unless there's anything you guys want to talk about that first segment. I mean, to me, it was pretty cut and dry.
Yeah, it's definitely cut and dry.
Yeah.
Straight to it.
It is, I would say, and we get a couple more interactions, but I will say the pairing with Tiff and Rhea is a cool pairing. Like a lot of people, and I believe even Tiffany herself, like we're making the comparisons to the Wednesday Addams show with, I didn't watch the Wednesday show, but it was like her Wednesday with the chick who was like at all pink. So just with that contrast of the goth girl and the preppy girl, whatever, just that contrast is a cool like duality. So yeah, that's always cool.
They could be Buttercup and Bubbles.
Yeah, I fucks with that.
From Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that easily. Yeah, then make Becky blossom. Women's tag match. We get Damage Control versus Bianca and Jade.
Cook.
Yeah. It was pretty fire match. Also, Jakari Jackson and Lash Legend are ringside, which we get a lot of them this whole week, which makes all last week's complaints, I'm not going to say not valid, but I would say that it was at least a slight overreaction.
Fuck that big reaction.
It was a slight overreaction. Because at least with this, like, no shade to any other company, but at least with this Triple H era, like with the way that they tell stories, like usually things mean something. There's usually an Easter egg, like there's usually a payoff. At least, I mean, there's only like 2 instances where I feel like we haven't got a good payoff. One is Otis versus Chad, and the other one is like this weird Braun going face and then switching the heel thing. But other than that, I feel like they've been having a really good job of keeping a thread with shit going from A to A, B to C. So that's why I'm like, sometimes you just gotta let it play out. But I'm not saying it wasn't valid. Like that, the reaction was kind of valid. It's just, I feel like people were a little over the top, where it's like we're going back to the Stone Ages with women's wrestling. Like that shit was just over the top.
Yeah, we talked about it last week. Like,
yeah,
the KKK thing with Triple H is a little crazy. I'm not going that far, but I will speak when I think shit is kind of played out. But
yeah, no, I feel that. No, absolutely. But yeah, what do you guys think of this? I mean, I only wrote down a couple spots, but the match was fire. Like Bianca hit a crazy ass spear, which she needs to keep that shit in the clip. Like that needs to be a move. Of hers in her repertoire. We get a cool pop-up elbow drop with Io and Kari Sane. That shit was fire.
Yeah, that's the spot that I wrote down.
I got the suplex into the KOD. Like just
yeah. I mean, just like that's, and I saw a lot of people giving Bianca credit, which she deserves that credit, but that's a lot of core strength on Io too. Like when it comes to wrestling and doing wrestling moves, it takes two, like to do like certain wrestling moves, like to go to a vertical suplex from outside the ring into a KOD, like that is, them girls are strong. That's all I'm gonna say. That shit, it's just like, yeah, no, that shit was fire. But before that KOD spot, the Meta Girls interfere sort of well, I wouldn't say sort of. Lash Legend knocks the shit out of EO, which sets up that suplex / KOD spot. And then we get some more storytelling with that later throughout the week. After that, we get Pierce talking to Finn and JD, and they're trying to, like, Finn really wants this Damian Priest. I think I said Priest. I meant to say Pierce. Pierce talks to Finn and JD. Finn really wants this Priest rematch. And Adam Pierce is like, yeah, that's not going to happen right now. We need to figure out what's going on with these tag titles. So essentially, they're making not a tournament, but it's going to be a couple triple threat tag team matches or tag team matches to figure out who is going to be the number one contender and to be their next challenges. After that, yeah, are you guys going to say anything to say about it?
No, I did find it I found it interesting that we're getting, like, we're not getting Finn versus Priest. I thought they were definitely going to run that back again, which they still might. Like you just talked about, WWE has a thing where, like, just wait a little bit, don't react. It can still happen. But I also realized that with, like, the Viking Raider, like, promos earlier in the week or earlier in the past couple of weeks, that we were getting some tag team action. So this also makes sense. And I kind of want Judgment Day to kind of, like, get rid of the tag belt so we can put them on somebody else. And this is the path to kind of, like, make that happen.
I mean, yeah, hopefully, unless they win. DT?
Yeah, my big thing was just the fact that Adam acknowledged that Judgment Day hasn't been defending their titles. Like, people talked about it on the internet. So obviously they've been watching it or they're paying attention to it. But that was, like, part of that conversation. He's like, hey, you guys been holding the belt. And Finn's like, yeah, for over 100 days. Like, yeah, but you ain't really fought nobody. You ain't did nothing. So,
right.
Like, letting us know that they know and they're aware of it, like, that was a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. Also, by the way, I forgot to mention that this was a taped Raw because a lot of the roster went on a UK tour.
In the UK.
Yeah. And usually when it comes to tape Raws or tape shows, sometimes I don't watch, but they've been really good with not having spoilers come out. And also I've been really good not seeing spoilers. And I would say that this Raw was still a pretty decent Raw. But yeah, after that we get American made video package. Then we get a Braun Breaker video. Yeah. Oh, did I miss something?
Yeah, just a little bit. Finn leaves from that interaction, pissed off he's not getting a rematch. Liv shows up. Liv Dom shows up, introduces Raquel into the scene. Carlito stops juggling his apple, drops his apple, it rolls. And he is all eyes on Raquel. So I just wanted to throw that in there right there. Yep.
Well, and since you bring that up, there was a couple articles, and I don't know if this is fake or if this was, like, someone in the E trying to test the waters, but there's been the last week or so, I've seen a couple things saying that, like, they might be trying to figure out a way to get Carlito out of the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
How would you guys feel about that? Like, just having him, like having Raquel essentially replace him, or would you think they should add somebody else, or do you think they should just keep Carlito in?
I think, that's a good question. I think that groups get you on TV, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being in a group gets you a lot of airplay. And with them cutting Raw down to 2 hours now, I don't know how strong a singles push for Carlito will go. There's nothing against his talent that he has. It's just more so how the show is ran. And I think he'll probably get a lot more done by staying in Judgment Day.
That's actually a good argument. I was simply going to say, don't do it. That was like, that's an actual, like, educated thought process. I like him being kind of the comic relief to replace R-Truth. A lot of his, like, that cool or that's not cool, they're like, it's comedic timing. It's fun. It's great.
Great.
And it just gives him an extra body in the Judgment Day. So I don't want him to leave, essentially, you should say, in my mind.
I agree. I share the same as what both you guys said. So after that, that's when we get the video package with American Made. They don't say much. We get a Braun Breaker video package talking to Jey, saying that he doesn't need his family and that he's not going to have Jay's not going to have his family when they have this rematch. which I feel like is planting some
Foreshadowing?
seeds. Foreshadowing, which we'll get into. Then after that, we get another video segment essentially, and it's Bronson Reed, and Pierce talking and trying to figure out where they go from here. And essentially, he wants the Seth Rollins match, and he explains why he's been doing this rampage shit. And essentially, I'm just trying to make a name for myself, bro. You guys have any feelings about that talk?
No, I liked it. I like how casual it was. Like, this motherfucker just sitting like the picnic chair, just telling you, hey man, look, I'm trying to be one of them guys. I'm trying to get inside this main event picture. And I had to do what I had to do. And it worked. Yeah. Bronson Reed is, known now. Like, he's a big bad. It made sense. Now, is it worth the payoff when you get this match with Seth Rollins? TBD. But I do know that man is known to burn it down, if you will. So, I'm definitely looking forward to what kind of match. In my head, I'm thinking like it's probably going to be a regular match, but I would love to see like a stipulation of like some sort. That's not last man standing, because we already done that.
Yeah. I feel like we need at least 2 matches, or if they need to kill time, then give us the 3. But yeah, I'm here for it.
I don't think Seth can survive 3 matches with Bronson Reed.
He beat.
Well, that was going to be my question, because the last 2 times that I've seen Seth interact with Bronson Reed, ain't been that good except for the stomp. So at some point, yes, Seth has to win, but it's a lot of meat on them bones.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the man is great, but the man's body it be bodying sometimes. He be looking real regular.
Y'all wild, and he gonna stuff the Vegemite out his ass, bro. All right.
Real quick. Like the big thing that stuck out to me between Bronson Reed and Adam Pearce, he said, make the match and there won't be any problems.
Facts.
Make the match and there won't be any problems. So if you don't do what I need you to do, I'm going to just keep causing havoc. You're going to start losing more people off your roster. Just make the match.
Yeah, do what you got to do. Do what I told you to do.
Something that I feel like that also probably just didn't get noticed enough is, and I feel like Pierce might have said this once before, sometime during the last draft, but he explains why Raw is so chaotic. He's like, I kind of want this chaos, but essentially there's a limit to it. Like, you can't just be going out killing people, and shit. But I liked that there was I don't know, maybe I'm being a nerd about it, but I like that there was a slight explanation to why he runs Raw differently compared to how Aldis runs SmackDown, if that makes sense.
I like the fact that you use the word run. Like, I like the way he runs. He don't run shit. That nigga don't run a goddamn thing on that show.
For lack of a better word.
It's crazy. I like how they run over him. The hell?
Literally, didn't he get squashed in that pile of people under Bronson Reed?
No.
He in that pile?
He was, but he left before it fell down. Like,
thank God.
Yeah.
Oh,
gotcha.
You go fuck up my knees. So after that, we get a tag match. We get Alpha Academy with Otis and Tozawa and Maxine, and then we get the returning War Raiders, and they not only return into their old fire ass music, which is really good music to work out to, just FYI for anyone, but they also go back to their old name, which I don't think they've had that name since they were in NXT.
The Viking Raiders.
Because they used to be the War Raiders, and I want to say they used to be, they were War something before they got signed. It might have been War Raiders or War something, but yeah, like their whole thing was like, because you chant war or whatever, and then Vince changed it because war is bad or whatever, and then we got like Viking Experience, and then we got the Viking Raiders. Anyway, we get a returning of them, which we haven't seen them as a duo in a long ass time, because there was that point in time where Ivar, he was running solo for
a minute.
Felt like half a year or some shit. But yeah, it was good to see the Viking. Yeah, it was hurt, and then he got hurt, and homie came back, and also they come back without Valhalla, What do you guys think about that?
I'm
I
not
see
gonna
prayer
lie.
hands.
I was excited.
Me too.
You running around, you got your feet out, you screaming at
Yeah.
people randomly, like I'm cool. I'm cool.
Y'all wasn't fucking with Valhalla? Y'all didn't
Absolutely not.
She might be a guest star on Glenn and Mark Callis's podcast here.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Or either that or Tarka Jericho. She'll be on one of those. But,
Hey guys. No.
Oh fuck.
But yeah, we get back to the old name, back to the old music. They have a new finisher, which
was
wasn't
nuts. I
it
liked
was cool. It was cool.
What? I liked it.
I need to see it more.
Cool.
I need to see it against someone who isn't Tozawa. Like, can
True.
they do
True.
that move on an Otis? Can they do?
Why
Yeah.
are we putting Cesaro in these situations? Like,
So
he's a smaller guy. Somebody got to take the pin in the group, and it's free Otis right now until he free.
That shit is fucked up. When I was like, I saw them come out, I was like, it's Otis and Cesaro versus the Viking. Like, who the fuck did this to Cesaro? Why he gotta get hit like this, man? It's like when you play a wrestling game, you just testing it out, so you pick the weakest motherfucker on the roster to run your moves against. Like, come on, bro. Like, I get it. It's the beginning of the tournament. They'll fight somebody, stronger next week. But god damn, I feel bad for Tozawa, man. He getting no burn.
Hey, he's getting TV time. He ain't dressed like a ninja.
That's
I think
sick.
he's good. I think he's doing
sick.
okay.
The bare minimum should be TV time and not dressing like a ninja. I just want you to realize that, nigga. That's just crazy. That's
it ain't
the bare minimum.
Hey, it ain't catering and it ain't racist. I feel like that's a pretty good win compared to the past. I don't.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
You about to say something?
I literally put meat, and then I put Tozawa enhancing talent.
Oh,
yeah,
that sounds.
So he made the War Raiders look extremely strong. So shout out to him for doing his job.
Yeah. Any expectations for the Royal Raiders? Are we like expecting them to be the tag team champions? Is that where your head would go? Like, is that the best tag team on the Raw roster right now that you want to see get the titles?
No.
I'm gonna say yeah. Put it on them because we are familiar with them.
True.
Depending on what they say when they get their first promo, we can kind of gauge if they're going to be heel or face. It really doesn't matter. But like, I feel like they're interesting enough. And like you said, we kind of got to get this off at Judgment Day. And based off of the tag teams that we have on Raw, because like, okay, so now Alpha Academy is out. You could do American Made, but I mean, you could do American Made, but then they have to fight against Judgment Day, and that's two heels versus heels. It's not that it's not possible. It's just that I don't see it happening. And
when
then
you
I
put
don't
logic
see
in it, doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and then I don't see New Day winning it. And at the moment, and then what? And then there's LWO. I don't see them winning it. So
Wyatt 6.
I mean, if they're in it, but also I don't. I mean, I'm still of the. They're going to go after the. No, they don't. No, we don't need spooky niggas having a belt right now. And also, it seems like they're going to go after the Miz, which we'll talk about later. But and then there's AOP, but
so that was my pick. Put it on AOP.
On AOP,
yes,
I'm not feeling that either.
I understand the hesitancy, I do, but I feel like Karrion has interacted with at least 2 or 3 different superstars so far. And each time,
a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
So his character in that faction is building. I feel like putting it on him, even if it's just for a week or 2 or a couple weeks. I feel like that could do them some justice. I wouldn't mind seeing it on AOP. And then that way you get it on a tag team that someone else can take it from them, whether it's American Made or somebody else, and the belt can kind of move around a little bit because it's been stagnant. So you had Judgment Day that had it forever. Then before Judgment Day, what was it?
Awesome
Awesome Truth. They had it, but before them, that's when there was the Judgment Day. Yeah, right. It was, so like the belts haven't moved around really, and like we talked about it before. It's like, why would you take it off of Judgment Day just to put it back on Judgment Day just because you don't have anybody? Like, this would be one of those times where AOP to me could be like, it could be a shock that they won. Like, what the fuck? Why do they have the belts? Kind of deal, right? And the belts can raise them up and they can start to bounce around between different factions that haven't had any traction over the last 8 months.
So going back to like our segment last week that we talked about like the tag or about belts being on superstars, right? And like the two reasons of either like you can either carry it and make people better, or we're trying to enhance you. I can see them enhancing, War Raiders and bringing them up to the spotlight, but as far as like carrying stories and angles, unless they're heels, that makes sense to me. I don't see them doing too much as like baby faces. And so for like my choice of like tag teams a little bit different, I'm gonna go LWO, but I'm going with like Ray and Dragon Lee. Because I like the idea of like Ray still being Ray. He's able to carry it. He's still able to run angles with it. He's the crazy baby face. And then at the same time, we could build Dragon Lee, which is like the guy that you kind of want to like not replace Ray, but kind of like, protege kind of like thing.
I see it.
And we know that they're investing in Dragon Lee. That motherfucker got a fire ass promo this week. That man, that little vignette they gave for Dragon Lee was hard.
Little heat.
Yeah. I imagine him going after the IC, assuming Braun Breaker wins it back. I imagine Dragon Lee going after the IC and not winning it, but starting to be placed in that. But I wouldn't be mad at that. I could for the sake of storyline, I could see LWO winning it and then losing it to a AOP or a War Raiders, just because they are the bigger team. And I could see that, because then you can also still play off of Dominic shit with his father, I guess.
Yep.
So I could see a way for them to formulate that. I wouldn't be upset with it or anything. I can see it.
Cool.
AOP can be transitional champions for 2 weeks. So wouldn't kill them.
I mean, you should. Transitional doesn't have to be bad. I mean, it's not a good term in today's wrestling.
Derogatory term in wrestling. You tell anybody they're a transitional champ, they will fight you.
I mean, that's we're gonna be fighting. If they give you the belt for 2 weeks and it's on somebody else on the third week, what is that?
I mean, I don't know.
All right, come on.
It was facts.
Spade is a spade.
Yeah. After that, we get Seth and Pierce talking, which I mean, it was fine. I don't think it was.
No. That nigga said you have had 6 matches and you haven't been healthy for any of them. That, and I'm like, damn. Thinking about it, he right. Anytime Seth have a big match, my knee, a hip, a back.
He couldn't even count to 3 when he was a special guest referee.
That's a lie, because someone won that match, right?
No, he literally said when he slow counted and CM Punk looked at him crazy, because remember they showed the ref cam. He's like, my knee. He's like, I can't get down my knee.
Someone won the match because he counted. All right, I don't want to hear that. That was a joke. It was a bit.
Yeah, it was a bit that came from his lips. What do you want me?
Yeah. I mean, it's fact. It takes him a second to get down. Pause.
He did also bar up in this. He barred up. He said, "There's a reason I'm at the top. I slayed the beast, conquered kings, and I'm hunting monsters."
Yep.
So if I need this, if you want the best version of Seth Rollins, I was like, "All right, man, good." But
which makes sense. And my only thing with that is that he like when Braun Strowman was the crazy big heel when he like first debuted and shit, or like the first 3 years after his debut, Seth beat him, and he is the monster among men or whatever the fuck. So I feel like, I don't know, it's a nitpick, but I feel like they could have been worded different. Like I've hunted a monster before. I could beat another monster type of thing. But either way,
if
Either way, it's
Reed killed the monster of all men, he's the new monster of all men now, right?
Hey, but no,
that's his mantle.
Braun Strowman won that match, though. He just left with a torn groin.
True. That's true. He did win that match. All right, you're right.
Okay, yeah. So after that, we get Cody and Gunther. But before that, I just wanted to ask, like, you got like we're all, healthy young men, and we all date and whatnot. And sometimes it's hard to get in the mood and get in the right moment when your partner wants to, get there, And that's why I'm going to tell you guys about our new ad, and it's called Long Richard, the new ED pill prescribed by doctors that tastes exactly like candy, with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis. With the Long Richard in you, you'll keep pumping all night long. Now, I don't need to tell you what the short name for Richard is, wink, wink. But what I do need to tell you is the promo code WAV, promo code WAV. That's right, and you can get a free trial for a month. And so yeah, don't suck down no artificial honey. Suck down a Long Richard. Put a Long Richard in you, and I promise you'll have a good night.
Wait, bro. Hold on. Is this a bit?
Hey, time out.
Really
Listeners, no, this is not real at all.
No, it is. Emails. No, it is absolutely real. It actually comes with the theme song or a quick jingle too.
Wait. Hold on. Before you start singing about dicks, real quick.
Oh, she ain't never have a Long Richard. She stressed out. Give your Long Richard and then stretch her out. You gotta take it, baby. 30 minutes right before you get naked. Oh, baby. Long Richard. Get you a Long Richard.
Disregard everything this nigga just said.
Wait, what just happened?
This nigga created an infomercial on the spot called Long Richard.
No, it's an ad.
Wait.
An ad.
We're getting paid. Long Richard, WAV, promo code, free month trial.
You're not. Please don't.
Wait.
DraftKings, talk to me, please. DraftKings, hit my email now so I can replace Long Richard with DraftKings. Sports betting is where we should go. You know what I'm talking about?
Nigga, this is not the nightcap.
No, it's an ad.
We're taking Shay pills.
Long Richard, and that's with 3 O's. Long Richard. Put a Long Richard in you. You'll be good. All right, we can get back to the show though. So yeah, Cody and Gunther face off, and we get a second Beast reference, which we didn't talk about. So during that Seth segment, like you said, he mentioned the Beast, and then Cody mentions, "Are you guys okay?"
No, nigga, we're sitting here talking about.
No, fuck this nigga. This nigga tripping, bro. You can't go from Long Richard into Cody promo. Yeah, now that Cody in the ring talking about Gunther. No, what the fuck?
Well, you guys never had a commercial in a podcast before? It happens. We got to get the fans used to it.
This nigga
Long Richard.
We got to get the fans used to long dick. That's what you said.
Long. I mean, if they like it. Okay.
All right, listen. I thought you was playing because I thought you were about to reference what Cody was talking about with his suits and how he feels about people that hate on him wearing suits. So I thought this was a callback, and I thought you was gonna bring it in, but
no,
it's a real thing.
This nigga was roping out. This nigga threw the pass to no receiver. There was nobody in the end zone.
Hey, someone's gonna catch a Long Richard, and it's gonna be because of the code WAB.
Oh my god.
So this nigga Jay ready to turn all this shit off. He said he ready to turn all this off.
We get Cody and Gunther face off. And it's also the second, like I was saying, it was the second Beast reference, and it was a little bit of news for a couple days. Wait, hold on 1 second. What's up, Bentley? The neighbor child, he's walking a dog. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that.
Are you good, nigga? This nigga Shout out the neighbor from the second story.
He was looking at me
What's
through the
up, little
window.
tree truck? How you doing, tree truck? I ain't seen you in a minute.
He was looking at me through
Bobby
the window.
apples and shit, nigga. I see you.
I don't want
How
people
your
thinking
mama
I'm a
and that Cadillac
rapper.
doing?
I don't want people thinking I'm a rapper just because I'm talking into a microphone and I'm black. Okay,
That
I gotta.
shit is crazy.
Okay.
He said, "Hey, what up, Billy?" All right, bro. Let's get back to it. That shit is fucking
right, please.
crazy,
All right.
though.
Can I-
Good
all right,
God.
all right,
Wait,
all right.
can I
We are.
Yeah, I want to ask you a wrestling question.
Yes.
Okay, about Cody's entrance. Did it seem before the woe? We all know everyone pops at the woe. The woe is there for you to pop and say whoa and make the entrance seem bigger than what it is. And this is not no bloodline tribal chief hate. I'm legitimately asking the question. When he first came out, did you feel like the fans reacted or no?
I feel like they always do, but I will say the aura is changing for Cody. I've been saying this. Like, it just doesn't seem like, he's Big Pop anymore. Like, personally.
Yeah.
And you better shut the hell up. I don't want to hear it. No.
Because
No.
what I wrote down, what I have was I put confusion at Cody reaction, silence at the beginning. They popped for the woe. Then it seemed like it was silent during the rest of the song until there was "We Want Cody" chants towards the end of the
middle of the
promo.
promo. Yeah.
So that was just interesting. That was it. That was just interesting. I just wanted to ask a question how y'all felt about that.
I don't remember. I don't remember. I didn't write anything down about it. To me, his entrances always pop, and especially because apparently that city has. That was the first, like you said, it was the first city like after the Cody Crybabies thing came out or whatever. So I mean, I could rewatch it, but I don't think he's not Big Pop anymore. I feel like I feel like Cody is still up there. I mean, him selling out in Fanatics, and that includes against like other famous ass people, him being the most highly sold. Like, to me, that still proves that he's Big Pop. Among other things that he's doing, I think he is still the Big Pop.
Okay, question. Do you associate money with Big Pop? Like, because I don't. And
I'm
not judging how you look at it, but like, I just want to, do you correlate money with Pop?
Well, I'm not saying. Well, yes and no, because I feel like one does play into the other. I feel like if you have a crazy pop, that means you're going to get a lot of money because people fuck with you, so they're going to buy all your merch and stuff. But why I mentioned Fanatics is because like he's at a convention or whatever with people like LeBron or people like other famous like Tom Brady was there, other famous athletes, and he has the only thing that's sold out with a crazy ass line compared to like all these other athletes. Like, to me, like that's big shit. Like. And he's still, kissing babies and all this. Like, to me, his aura hasn't changed. I will accept and hear an argument that there's been ups and downs with his feuds. Like, the Logan Paul didn't hit as much. I will say that, but like with his shit with Kevin Owens, it's extremely interesting. And that match was really good. That first match with AJ in Paris, to me, that was fucking amazing. So it's like, I think his reign is fine. I don't think his popularity is dwindling at all. I think it's an internet thing. Like, I feel like if you look at the crowds at all the shows, like to me, it seemed like, I don't know. To me, Cody hate seems very forced. Same with some of like the Roman hate, or same with like there's just certain superstars where I feel like the hate is really forced, and it's like, see, he's like, I mean, and also like, I don't remember where they were for this Raw, but like, there's weird crowds. Like, I wrote a comment about the crowd on this Smackdown. I forgot. I mean, we'll get to it, but there was they were saying some weird shit, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, this person's supposed to be a face.
Wrestling fans are weird. To go back to the Cody Pop thing, when John Cena comes back, and you have John Cena, you have Cody Rhodes as the WWE champion, you still have the Bloodline story going on. What's the order? Who takes the main event? Who out of those three feuds there, or those three big things in WWE? What's the biggest storylines there? Right? And how I look at it is Cena I don't know if Cena is going to overshadow Bloodline, but he will be number 2. I don't think Cody's run or Cody's WWE Championship storyline would outrun or overshadow like Cena. Like, if that makes any sense, like,
Well,
where do you place that?
I mean, if we are to believe that that Cody is going to be tied with The Rock, then that's technically Bloodline. So then, yeah, Cena's not going to technically top that. And if Cody is still the champion, like, I mean, he's still like, Cena made it very clear that he's not trying to instantly break this record. He's not trying to leapfrog people. He's just trying to have some matches with people he's never had and have some good stories for his last
Unfortunately,
year.
That's as honorable as that sounds from Cena. Like, it's not going to happen that way, because like, it is the last run for Cena. So everything that Cena does is going to be huge.
No, absolutely.
It's just more so like, I guess, like, you kind of answered my question in that by inserting Cody inside Bloodline, you don't have to worry about Cena overshadowing him because he's going to be in the Bloodline segment, which makes the most sense. My counter to that is that even with that, you have Cena versus Rock. Is that bigger than Punk versus Seth? If you see where I'm going, like, is that going to be like, which one would you rather see, the Punk versus Seth or the Rock versus Cody? And honestly, probably be Rock versus Cody because the storyline. I get that, but like, which one do y'all want to see?
DT, you can go first. Or I'll be real quick. I want to see Seth and Punk, and I want to see Rock and Cody. I think those are like, and Cena could still have somebody else. Like, we could get Cena Orton again.
It's either or. My bad. It's either Punk versus Seth or Rock versus Cody.
Well, there's 2 nights of Mania. What you mean?
I guess
one of those is going to be night 2, and one of those is going to be night 1.
That's true.
Unless something crazy happens, like unless Cena gets a really good story, then it might main event, like similar to or a la of like, the Cody KO and Sammy being the main event, even though it should have been the Women's Rumble or whatever. Like, if the story's good, sure, but it seems like we're getting Rock and Cody, if not Rock, Cody, and Roman. Hopefully not, but it seems like we're going to get a variation of that, and then it looks like they're tied for Cody or Punk and Seth. Honestly, if I had to guess, we're getting Gunther and Cena. That would be my guess, but I'm gonna let DT go.
Damn, that would be fucking crack. I'm there.
Cena's not beating Gunther.
No way, no.
I mean, they could play patty cake real quick.
Here's the truth. The truth is, this is their problem to figure out. That's why they get paid. But
facts.
But
facts.
I know it was a long time ago, almost a year ago, but Seth's reaction to CM Punk coming out, I need to see where that goes. I need to see that. I don't know how they get heat back up to that, but I need to see that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to see The Rock versus Cody at WrestleMania, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah. It would be interesting. Like I said, we still got Roman part of Mania. I don't think there will be a Mania where Roman's not going to be a part of it. And
you mean not the main event?
Not the main event?
Yeah.
And so, like, when we talk about night 1, night 2, like, Punk and Seth is definitely a main event match. That's 1,000% a main event match. But also, Roman will be a part of the main event of WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
So, either way, like you said before, they got to figure this out. I'm just bringing up the fact that, like, Cody has to be a part of the Bloodline shit for, like, people to fucking care about, like, what he's doing.
Well, that was going to be my question.
Well, I disagree. Or what's your question?
So that is looking at his title reign up to this point. AJ got hurt. He was out, got hurt afterwards, or whatever the case was. They had a good match at Backlash. That was cool. They had a good angle for that, but it didn't really turn into nothing. It was really like one match and done, if I remember right.
They had 2 matches.
2 matches? Thank you. 2 matches. And then instantly he's pulled back into the Bloodline with Solo because Solo has to do something to elevate the Bloodline. So he's pulled back into that. That was pretty much, it felt like the whole summer. if I remember correctly. And then Bad Blood, same thing. Why are they booking it to where he's entangled in the Bloodline storyline? Is it because of the belt, or is it because of who Cody is?
That's a good question.
I believe it's because of who Cody is.
Okay, so hold on. If that is the case, the reason why I asked that is because by this point, right? So it was April. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November. We're going on seven months of him having the belt. So 210 days, 200 whatever days. You haven't built up any credible heels aside from the Bloodline. These are just questions that I'm asking.
No, I mean, yeah.
Right now, Kevin Owens is bubbling. We're gonna talk about that in the Smackdown segment.
Right.
Cool, but it took 210 days because the Gunther thing. We already know what the Gunther thing is. That's a wash. That's just champion versus champion.
Yeah.
This doesn't really have any stakes. So that is my question. Is it because of who Cody is, or is it because they don't have anything for Cody yet? Which after 200 and some odd days, you should have something for the guy who's supposed to be the face of your company and his top seller merch.
And I think that's it. I think they don't. It's hard to say they don't have anything for Cody because that we all know Big Bad is Rock, but it's like I will agree with you that I think that we should have at least 2 to 3 heels mid card higher ready for Cody. And it's just hard because it's SmackDown, bro. This is why I think in hindsight, Cody should have been on Raw to where you could line him up with the Gunthers, the Drews, like the Punks. Like you have a roster that you could kind of fuck with. But on SmackDown, it's really who's the big bads? It's just Bloodline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
So I think they don't have anything built on the SmackDown side as far as heels, and that's why Cody's tied in with the Bloodline shit because they're the biggest heels on the show.
But we know eventually we're gonna get the Randy feud. We're gonna get probably him and KO too. There's still a chance we can get Cody and Fatu 1v1. They're.
I think
Bloodline.
It's still Bloodline, yeah, but Bloodline also needs to be elevated.
Realistically, though, you only have 3 months, right, until it's Rumbles. So we know that Gunther is the main event match at Crown Jewel in November, right? So that means it's probably gonna be KO after Gunther, and then there's no pay-per-view in January because they're doing the whole Raw thing. I didn't see one in January, and then
December Saturday night main event,
the Saturday main event, yeah, and then Royal Rumble's in February now. So we don't really have a lot of time to build up another heel. Besides, I think KO is going to be that last big bad for him, and then we go into Mania season, and so by that time, it's time to build up for Rock and shit.
There's still Randy.
You think that we can fit Randy in between now and February?
It depends on how fast they want to do shit. I mean, I don't think Cody's going to lose this title at Mania, so they still have time for Randy, and then they assuming we get another draft, assuming there's call ups or some shit. There's still other stuff.
I like that.
Well,
we'll put a pin in that.
Yeah, we'll come back to it because I have thoughts.
We went on a kind of a tangent, but I think it's a great tangent. Inside this Cody promo, we get Gunther does interrupt him in this promo, right? And he's basically talking about how Cody's everybody's darling. You're everybody's friend, And I think he has a quote where he says, "Who knows now? We all know that everyone's friend is no one's real friend, or no one's true friend, or something like that." And I was like, that is a fucking bar. Because now look at it, you were friends with KO and you end up betraying him, and now he's not your friend because of what you did, and now where do you align? Where's your loyalties at? Basically just Gunther's poking fun at who are you? What's your morals, Cody? What you about? And I don't know, I didn't have anything wrong with this promo. I thought this promo was pretty solid. I didn't think that there was anything that was too shocking or revealing. Besides the fact that they don't like each other.
Yeah. After after everybody's friend, no one is friends, Cody then tells Gunther that he breaks. He said, I've been watching you, and what I see is whenever someone doesn't back down from you, or they challenge you, or they go head at you, you break. And then if you kind of look back at it, with Sammy chasing him, obviously he chased him down for the IC. Obviously Sammy's not going to chase him down for the World Championship because he just got it. But I think that speaks to Gunther and like someone continuously like taking the bully head on. It's like finally punching the bully in the face type deal. What else? I put Cody acknowledges Roman and obviously Brock Lesnar by saying the Beast, which we kind of alluded to that a little bit already. And then Gunther says that Cody is the reason for the boom period. And while I was watching that, I was like, no, the fuck he's not. And I just left it at that. So, and that was kind of the end of the promo. So, how did y'all feel about him acknowledging Cody as the reason for the boom in WWE?
I didn't take it. I mean, I would have to rehear it word for word, but I didn't take it as he was giving all the credit to Cody, because I feel like that's an easy lie, and maybe that's just a heel tactic.
That's tough.
But I didn't take it. I didn't take Gunther as meaning that legitimately, similar to like, oh, Goldberg's my favorite wrestler, because obviously the boom period it equates a lot of people. Obviously, Bloodline shit, like that goes without saying. Seth Rollins did some good shit.
Huge.
Gunther himself re-elevated that IC title like during this whole quote unquote boom period. So there's a lot like Bailey during fucking the pandemic, Bailey and Mercedes during the pandemic era, / and Asuka, / Becky, / EO. Like there's a lot of people to contribute to it.
There is.
I personally didn't take that as him just saying, "Oh, it was only you." I saw that the internet also took it like that, and I feel like I don't know. For me personally, I'm chalking it up as it was just him just talking. Like it wasn't meant to be taken word for word or extremely literal, because that would be it's an easy lie to tell. It's a bald-faced lie. Like there's a lot like Gunther, you yourself were contributed to that boom period. Like you had banger after like you've yet to have a bad match since being in the main roster. So like there's a lot of different factors. I personally didn't take that way, but I did see the internet doing it, and it was mostly like stands of the other certain wrestlers who were contributing, and they were like super upset about it and uptight, and it was like I don't think it was that deep personally, but that's just me.
I won't say he's responsible for the boom period, but shit definitely shifted. Like Cody popping up at Mania in Dallas, Texas, and being like Seth's opponent, and like seeing like the true American Nightmare on the big production of WWE, like that shit changed a lot. And that moment there, you kind of knew that this player being introduced was going to be a big part of like WWE. So I won't say he was responsible for the boom period because that's definitely discrediting everybody before Cody, but that nigga was an integral part. This nigga, it was kind of like adding KD to the Warriors. Like they were already winning, so when him coming over, like it just made that shit even bigger. Like, especially coming from like especially coming from like being an EVP or whatever in AEW to like plucking that motherfucker out, signing him over here, throwing him on Mania, and like just saying, "Hey, go wrestle Seth." And then to see what follows after that, like we got the fucking Hell in a Cell moment. Like, granted, that shit was brutal, but that was a big moment too. Like, yeah, I will say he's not responsible for the boom period, but he
contributed.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I think it's one of those things that I feel like the internet's taking way too literal. I don't think it was supposed to be like a
people on the internet don't have a brain. Niggas is stupid.
Yeah, I do not think that line was supposed to be the the line that people just pick out and just like fucking critical think and critique and make essays about it. Like
Nah.
if you've been watching this product for the last 2 years, or I mean, if you just the last 3 years, obviously you know it's not just Cody. Like you got fucking LA Knight is over as fuck. You got Jey Uso that's over as fuck, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
It did make my ears perk up when he said it because I was watching.
That's good.
And he sounds like my shit said. Bloop. I was like, wait, what? So,
we got the Braun Kofi match. You wanna hop in that, hero?
Yeah. So after that, we get Braun. Yeah, we get Kofi versus Braun. It was a decent match. I don't remember how long it was, but Braun wins. Because the dogs are out. Bark, 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 bark. I was out there barking. You know what I'm saying? Ankle biters here. I'm 5'10" though. I'm a big guy. I'm a decent average man. Fucking yeah. He goes on the attack on Kofi, but Woods comes for the save because Woods wasn't out during the match. It was just Kofi 1v1, and Woods comes out for the save. Then like Braun, like he acts like he's gonna leave, and then he like comes out of nowhere, spears him, and then we get Jey Uso coming out for the real save, and then after that. Oh wait, is there anything else you guys want to say about that match?
No, I got nothing at all.
It was a cool match. It's good. Braun got a win over a former world champion, so that's what's up.
Mm-hmm. I put a Braun as dog walking Kofi, and then I put that in pun as well. I said because everyone is barking, and then the saves come, but then I also wrote Jey saves Kofi and Xavier, a callback to when Kofi said Jey would save them if the shoe was on the other foot. So there's a callback to that. So building a story there, I left it there.
Yeah,
but we'll see if Xavier acknowledges or mentions the fact that happened or not.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they will. But after that we get Jey goes into his locker room and we get a very CWUPN coded segment where he walks into the room and then Jimmy's just sitting there and then Jay's looking perplexed and he just leaves. After that, we get the Miz versus Truth. And during that, or what, did I skip something?
No.
Okay.
That's not even in my notes.
Yeah.
That shit Thanos snaps.
It was a 30-second match, honestly.
That's just I don't have it in my notes.
So it's Miz versus Truth. Truth, he gets the handshake before the match. Miz is very reluctant, but he does do the handshake after the bell rings. Then Final Testament comes out, which distracts Miz. Miz is looking. Truth does the schoolboy. He gets the pin. Mm-hmm. Then he leaves happy, but then he says what's up to Carrie, and he's like, hey, and then after Truth walks further, he's like, go get him, get his ass in there. So they go grab him. They throw him back in the ring. We get a skull crushing finale, and that's all she wrote for that segment. But that was that was all of that was probably 2 minutes, maybe 2.5.
So I deduced from it, Miz is the target of the Wyatt Six because before it was on the Wyatt Six stuff was only popping up when it was Miz and AOP or in the Final Testament. But then there was a point where he was talking and it was just him in the screen. I think I can't remember who he's talking to specifically. The interviewer in the back, and then the Wyatt Six little clip pops up. So I was like, okay, Miz is the target for the Wyatt Six, so that's going to be happening.
Which I feel like it. Sorry to cut you off. I feel like it further proves something that we talked about a while ago, where it seems like the Wyatt Six are baby faces, and they're going after people that either
betray their family.
Exactly, because that's what all the random. I do not tap on those QR codes. I refuse to do it. But that seems like that's the route where it's like the Wyatt seem like obviously they're a bunch of misfits that became a family due to such and such, all these other traumas and PTSDs. So now they're going to target people who betray their family. So yeah, I feel it seems like Miz is the next target. Which Miz has done spooky shit before. He'll be able to play it off because he had a feud with Howdy. Not Howdy. The
With
Fiend
Fiend.
/ Bray, and he also had a feud with Dexter Lumis, who's damn near
And
spooky.
that was
as
gonna be
well.
my question: is that like we've seen it a couple of times now with Miz and like the spooky shit? Like how
How does
how
this
I wonder
differ?
how we can make this different. Yeah, like
Well,
how
I'm gonna tell you how, because I put as a question mark. Does Miz join the Final Testament? So if you count the members plus the Miz, it should equal out to the YS6 members as well.
I don't know if
And
he
you know what?
joins. I don't know if he joins, but I
Or he
think he'll ask
hires
for help.
them. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we've talked about like Final Testament needs a mouthpiece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who's a better mouthpiece than they have two, but what's a better mouthpiece than Miz? Miz and Final Testament, that kind of works,
Yep.
Carrion is really good speaker. Just
Carrie's
people
good. He is.
People
But he's not
don't care about him.
charismatic. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, I'm interested. I want to see how they play this. Y6 hasn't been featured a lot. It's been a lot of QR codes lately. I think the last big match was their match against American Made.
Yep.
But like it will be interesting to see how like if they continue to like baby step them or if they like will
I think they're making them attractions because we don't need to see them every week, especially if it's only going to be 2-hour show. Like we do not need to see spooky things every week. Otherwise, we risk going into the same problem that we had during the Bray stuff. Granted, I feel like in this new regime, they're going to be more grounded. Like we saw that, like, because that was my biggest fear before that first match. Was like, can these niggas take damage? Or are they going to sell? They've already proven that they'll do that. But I feel like, it's an attraction type of thing where it's like, they're on the Roman schedule sort of, but they're always lingering because we're getting QR codes and all sorts of video things on a weekly basis for the most part. But okay, real quick, let's finish this. After that, we get another Moesha segment with Jey and Jimmy, and Jey tells Jimmy no, man, and get out of my face. And that's the end of that. And I feel like the Jey and Jimmy segment is how this show was taped, besides a couple other things. But like it looked like they were clearly in different arenas, which is funny. But it is what it is. You got to do the editing magic, movie magic. After that, that's when we get the main event, which is the women's tag, Liv and Raquel versus Rhea and Tiffany. Good match. I didn't write any particular spots down. It was a good match. It ends in a DQ because Nia shows up and it just turns into a big ass brawl. But it ends with Nia trying to convince Tiffany to cash in and Dominic saving Liv. And that's pretty much the end of the show.
Yeah, with this segment, it was Tiffany's awareness, like the awareness of like, hey, you could be a champion here. It lets me know like you don't want Liv's championship because you're not even focused on cashing in on Liv. You were like, oh shit, she's telling me to cash in, right? Anybody who has a briefcase is like the ultimate like opportunist, but in this case, we're clearly seeing like the writings on the wall that she does not want to go after Liv. She wants Nia's like belt, which is going to be a very hard belt to get, but I respect the challenge. I respect the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna take a quick little break. We're gonna come back. I'm gonna talk about Dynamite real quick. Mox kicks off AEW with the promo. Inside the promo, he's talking about how he wants AEW to land opportunity, but the
video
roster has
package.
gotten
The
so
video package.
yeah, my bad. Video
Sorry to
package.
cut you off. Yeah, just
He's talked about AEW as being landed opportunity, but that the roster's gotten so big and nobody knows where they belong. There's dancing and egos and people having fun, but this should be the place where people go to become the best version of themselves. He says he will burn down the forest and anyone who wait, hold on. He says he'll burn down the forest and anyone can come with him to the future they're going to build. But if you're not going with them, then get out the way. He asks, what is the new paradigm of AEW, and states that it's simple. He said, everybody works for me now. And inside this promo, like, I love this video package. I thought this was a dope promo. I thought, like, the way it was cut, I thought it was cool. I thought it was good that you now know his motivations. Like, people who've been sitting around, like, just chilling, like, y'all not moving correctly no more. Like, y'all not being the best wrestlers. Y'all just collecting a check, and, like, that's not what I'm about. So I like the fact that he's targeting certain individuals. And we'll get into that in the show because the shit don't stop there. They go on another brawl in the show and target a lot of other people too. People that haven't been seen or heard from in a while.
And shit's going down on Collision too. As well, I guess this was 2 hours ago, but yeah, like no, it doesn't.
I like this angle. I like this angle of like Mox taking over. Like, what y'all gonna do about it? Even so much that it's gotten to the point to where like you had the question last week where it was like, what's the elite's part in this, right? Like, what are the elite gonna do? Like, you guys are the EVPs and you guys supposed to like take over or like y'all running the show. They're afraid of them, and I like that angle because like y'all are supposed to be the big bads until the big bads run in the room, and y'all not really about that life. And I kind of like how like they're playing off of that. From there,
wait. DT, you said you watched it. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, I watched the video package. Yeah,
that's what I'm at. Yes, that's.
Oh, yeah. It looked a lot better. It looked cinematic. It looked like it had purpose. He kind of gave me, at least in the back of the pickup vibe, he kind of gave me like Joker vibes when he was hanging out the police car. I don't know if you remember that. And Dark Knight, it kind of gave me that feel a little bit. So it brings like a lot of seriousness and what's the word I'm looking for? Ominous. It brings him an ominous vibe.
Yep.
And so my question to the both of you real quick is, do you think that AEW producers, writers, and TK, etc., are going to use Mox's character in their group and what they're doing as a means to try to change their product, to put better product on TV?
Yes.
Because if you're saying y'all dancing around, y'all y'all not taking it serious, is the catalyst of change now from a behind the scenes standpoint. They're going to use Mox and his group as a vehicle to start to change their characters and the storylines and make it comparable, if you will.
Yeah. Go ahead here. I have my answer. Go ahead. I want to see what you say.
Okay. Well, to answer DT's question real quick, I'm going to say yes and no. I do think they are the catalyst. I do think they are going to be the main stepping stone. They are going to essentially, for a lack of a better term, they are going to be the new NWO or the new bloodline of this particular company. And then whoever combats them, like they're clearly trying to build faces, baby faces, which this particular company and a lot of companies even WWE for the longest time. Like it's sometimes it's hard to build, especially in this new internet era. Sometimes it's hard to build genuine baby faces. My take on this whole thing, to go back a little bit, is that I agree that the production was good. I personally I also like this video. The thing that I don't like is that I still can't fully disconnect myself from the white nationalist type rhetoric that these promos have. Especially knowing what the source material is from, it's kind of still hard to disconnect from that personally. But as far as since this whole shit started, to me, this is one of their better vignettes, their better promos or better videos. I do though. At the same time, I still think Moxley's talking in riddles. Like he's not saying shit. He's saying shit, but he's really not saying shit. We got to change things because it's not what it's supposed to be. Like I'm just doing it. I'm not doing this for you guys. I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for the better. Like it's not like it's saying shit, but it's really not saying shit. It's very cultish or again very white nationalist esque, uh, which is again so hard for me to disconnect. But I will say that if this is what the new TV deal, if we get this kind of production with all the characters, not just this new main team, because Moxley is one of their biggest stars, which we Loner and I talked about. Like to me, this feels like them trying to. This is like the new season. Like they're trying to kind of like not retcon, but like kind of reboot a little bit. It works. It looks good, and the carnage that they're causing, it also looks good. There's still some plot holes that I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Particularly mostly with the baby faces that they're trying to uplift. But overall, I think the production looked good. I just still think that there's some disconnect, personally.
I can understand that. I hear that. For me, like I said, I love the promo. Do I feel like this is TK's way of kind of like in getting people motivated and getting people ready to go? Absolutely. I think that Mox and them is going to be the reason why one of these shows ends. I think I would have like BCC kind of like destroy Rampage because the show's going away at the end of the year that we're predicting. I think that like I would have them kind of like burn the set down. I don't know how you would do that production wise, but like it would mean a lot more to where like, hey, nobody's watching this show anyway, right? The like, you know, the lighting, the production, everything is dark in here. This is clearly our C-list show. What better way than like have like the baby faces just take away opportunities and just or the heels kill that opportunity there, which will then enhance. I mean, in turn, like kind of like start Shockwave whenever that fucking happens. But I do think that like the motivations of the group and whatnot are definitely being used to get everybody like back up to speed because he's not wrong. Like I said, like some people have been there for a while. I think there's a Stokely
Most of them.
promo earlier in the show or later in the show where he's a private party. You guys been here since the Obama administration, and I was like, wait, I had to count. I was like, oh shit,
It's not true.
He's not. It's,
AEW started in 2019. Obama was not president. But sorry to cut you
on
off.
his way out.
Yeah. No, 2019. But Trump got elected in 2016. Like we were well into Trump's era.
Oh fuck, you're right. My bad. Got my numbers wrong. Dyslexic.
But
My
no,
bad.
but it is a good joke. It's a good joke.
Yeah.
It's just, but to piggyback off of last week, I do not think Stoke is the right person to pair with him if we're going to take them seriously. I just forgot the thought that I had before I made the correction, but man, the thing is, there's a small window of opportunity with this particular group and it's based off the way that this company does heels and faces. This company loves heels. and we're gonna like it's like there's a risk that that Moxley and the group get so badass that they get cheered, and then once that happens, then they're gonna have to fucking like try to reboot all this shit. So, and what I mean by that, where it's like, example, I mean, there's multiple examples, but if we're just talking about like in 2024, we had the whole Swerve thing. He broke into a nigga's house, he touched his baby, all this other stuff. People were loving it to the point where it was like, oh, we got to put this title on him. TK hesitated like a month or two, and then by the time Swerve got that title, then like his pop wasn't as good. It was still hot, but it just wasn't as good. Like this company, like same with MJF, like they love their asshole. Like every time MJF does some shit, is like that's our asshole. Like they're chanting for the heel. So they have like there's a small up there's a small window. There's a thin line to where if they, depending on what they do, they could make this group all of a sudden be cheered. If like with what they did to Daniel Bryan, I feel like it might take longer for that. My prediction.
That's what I was gonna say.
I might take longer for my prediction to happen, or I don't want to even say prediction. It's just that it's something that's happened in this last 5 years a lot with a lot of people. My thing is, yeah, they just risk the opportunity with like if they do some more badass shit, which they keep doing badass shit, like the fucking segment later in the match, which or later in the show, which I wanted to like when they attack multiple people, like there's a moment. I don't want to spoil it, but there's a moment that Moxley does some good shit, like some cool shit, and I'm like, I like that.
The backflip.
Fuck it, I'll get into it now. There's a fucking beatdown. There's a big ass beatdown. Multiple niggas are dead in the ring or getting their ass whooped. This dude, I don't know if it was AR5, I don't know who it was. I think it was someone in Top Flight. He does a fucking backhand springboard type thing, and then he just gets fucking boomed. And I'm like, that is the smartest thing I ever seen. I was like top 3 smartest thing I've ever seen in wrestling.
That shit was great.
Like,
that shit was.
I'm gonna just let you flip at me. No.
Yeah. Like if I'm watching one of you guys get jumped and I do a cartwheel, I deserve whatever happens. Like I deserve it. And then after that, if you guys beat me up because of my cartwheel, I deserve that part too. Because why the fuck am I doing that? You got a ring full of gang. I'm gonna just say gang members at this point because they're pretty much a gang. And you're gonna do some flips when everyone else is dead.
Turn your back on me,
on your opponent, on the champion, the current champion, who
that
also
shit was
does.
Hard. That shit was dope.
It's one of the smartest, best spots I've ever seen in all of fucking wrestling. I put that like number 4, like under like Eddie Guerrero faking getting hit. Like there's a couple other ones, but it's like that is just smart. I'm not gonna let you flip on me. The Samoa
right
Joe
there.
walking away.
It's like,
exactly. It's like right after Samoa Joe walking away during like high spot. Like I'm gonna flip. Like what? You're gonna flip? Like it's mind boggling.
It's fucking great.
But they do risk a chance of like being too cool because this company, this dedicated fan base, they like really cool people. They like people that do cool shit, even if that cool shit is bad shit. So they just risk doing that. Is what I guess is my fear.
My like thought process with that is that you are right. AEW loves fucking heels. One, like I said before, you kind of killed their favorite in Daniel, which is like sharing the motherfucker who took out your favorite Daniel is fucking crazy, right? And not only once, but twice, right? He did it at All In. He did it at, or All Out. He did it at All In. He did it at Wrestle Dream. Kind of hard to like root for somebody who took out, your favorite in Daniel Bryanson, but also Bryan Danielson. You have all these baby faces going against them. So that also kind of helps you too. That you have the baby face wall. It's the Orange Cassidy's, it's the Hooks, it's the Daniel Garcia, and then eventually Darby, because Darby wasn't at this show, and Darby is their Messiah baby face that they're going to try to push. And we talked about that last week too, to where like, I think the story will be Darby. But I think if you have your baby faces going against them, you also have the baby faces and people who love Private Party, people who love the Dark Order. Like that's why they're choosing the fan favorites. And it doesn't help Dark Order, but like
They just
for
got
the
their ass.
same reason
Yeah.
they
I'm sorry.
they got fucking smoked. But the thing is that like now you got them fired up because in that same promo, I think it was Evil Uno did a great fucking promo about how like nah we're gonna go after you. But then I seen some clips of Collision and but yeah, you are right. They have to be careful.
Yeah, and the thing with that though, like another reason why they have to even be, another reason they have to be careful is that all those people you named, like Darby is the biggest name out of all that. Darby and Adam Cole are the biggest names out of all those baby faces because Will Ospreay's doing some other shit. Dark Order has not been on Dynamite in fucking I don't years. Like probably since even before Ricky Starks has been off. They've been Collision and Rampage, like, so no one gives a shit. And also, Dark Order as a group have never done anything significant besides Brody Lee's TNT run.
I was like, besides Brody, like, that's a huge hit. That's a huge hit, though.
Yeah, and that came in like a year and a half after Dark Order was already created, and that didn't last that long. RIP. And then after that, they didn't do shit. They were with Hangman, but they still didn't do shit.
That's a tough. That's a tough pocket, bro.
I understand that. I'm just saying they have not accomplished it. Daniel Garcia hasn't accomplished much, but he is liked, but he hasn't accomplished much either. And then I don't even remember, or Orange Cassidy. Yeah, he's accomplished, but he's accomplished shit, but he doesn't talk that much. So honestly, he's loved. Honestly, what would have really hit if he was the one who cut that Raw speech? He should have cut that Raw speech, not Dark Order.
I think it's gonna happen.
I think it will happen. It's just, I mean, to me, they run a risk because, like, imagine OG Bloodline kills Raw and SmackDown, and the only people standing up to him is like Apollo, Tozawa, Cedric Alexander, and I don't know. I don't know. Throw another random name out, and then you have Cody, where it's like Cody is the only, like, Darby is their biggest, like, I feel like he is the end all be all with the faces among besides an Adam Cole and besides Ospreay, but Ospreay and Cole are tied up with other shit. And another random thing, because I'm going to lose my train of thought. And Swerve, but he's also tied up with other shit.
True.
And before I lose my point is like this in 2024, this is the third AEW versus a new takeover that we're getting. Because we've already had Blood and Guts, we had the match or the Stampede. Now we have another AEW versus new people trying to take over the company. It's just very odd. And then also it's like I'll just stop there. It's odd. I do like the new production. I like the beatdowns. There's they might be making BCC too strong, but at the same time, there's not many candidates that could beat them that are believable. So they kind of got to do this. But yeah, like it's hard. It's hard to imagine Darby and Daniel and Dark Order saving this company, as opposed to again, it's the same argument that we had during Blood and Guts, where it's like, why isn't it? It should be MJF and Swerve and Ospreay. Well, MJF is a heel now, but like if we're gonna do the fucking alliance versus WWE, if we're doing the invasion angle, if we're doing NWO versus WWC, then you should have your bigger stars doing this. Ospreay's tied up, Swerve is tied up.
Or that's the point, is that like y'all need somebody to save y'all all the time. Fuck that. Get up and fight it yourself. I think that's what the point is that like these people are always being looked at as like, oh, they're just, to the wayside. They're the catering crew or whatever. And I think Mox is like, no, like if y'all want it, fight it. I think part of the clip from Collision today was after the trios match that they had against Top Flight. Mox is like, nah, get them in the ring. Get Dark Order in the ring and have them fight right now. We just smacked y'all, but we're gonna defend the titles here. Like y'all want to be on this, y'all want to be the ones like get up and fight. Like he's trying to motivate these people to get up and like be something,
right?
Instead of being saved,
right? But it takes time for shit to be believable. Like if Daniel Garcia beats Moxley in a month, are you gonna believe that?
No,
I'm not. Like so, it
but
takes time.
I think that's the point. I think like we can always do this is the fucking the new hope of AEW, right? And then you run into like the whole, Revenge of the Sith or Return of the Jedi kind of thing. I think that's kind of like what they're going for, is that right now is the big bad punching down on everybody, but somewhere in the midst, somebody's going to rise up and like, hey, nah, fuck that. We're going to rebel against this whole thing. It's kind of funny because that's definitely Darby again, but like that's where they're going with this.
And it's funny because Bully Ray compared this new era to Empire Strikes Back, because every title is held by a heel right now.
Yeah, and I like that.
Except for the ROH.
Who's going to be the
stuff.
babyface? Who's going to be the one? Who's going to be the talent that comes up and like be the babyfaces to take this away? I think there's bigger stories in the heels, of course, telling these stories, and then eventually we'll have those babyfaces pop off. But not to get too far off on the tangent. Actually, we got pretty far off on the tangent. I'm gonna speed through like this promo with Adam Cole, which I did not like at all. I
didn't like it.
Honestly, it wasn't focused. It wasn't.
It's a whole nother tangent.
Long. It was like I'll say what the key parts were. He said off rip he acknowledges like the kingdom situation with hey, he loves the kingdom and Roddy, but he says he has to do this on his own. That's the only like cutoff we get from that, is that like, okay, so now you just cut your whole team off. There's no, at least for the time being, so there's no like Adam Cole with the kingdom, which makes that whole faction kind of like mute. And then he goes on like this babyface tangent of like, oh, I was evil to MJF because he was evil to me. Y'all didn't see like him behind stage or in the backstage or whatever, or behind the scenes. And I'm just like, this promo doesn't mean anything. It was long-winded. There was no focus in it. Like I didn't get it. And then it ends with like a video package for MJF where he's talking about like, Cole tricked him into letting his guard down, and the betrayal that he left a hole in his chest and whatnot. It was just all around sloppy. I didn't like it, especially to open the show.
It just doesn't make any sense, because it's like all this stuff that they're talking about literally happened this year. Like it literally happened in 2024. So it's like, it's hard. I'm not like slapping their wrist because they're trying to do a retcon or anything. It's just that it's hard to do a retcon of something that literally happened this year. Like that devil shit, it literally happened in like January. It was this year. And you bringing that up, DT, I know you're on mute right now, but he's on mute. I would like you to show JT just this segment of Cole talking and MJF talking, and I would like you to ask her, who do you think the heel is and who you think the face is? And the reason I'm asking that in this segment, and the reason why I'm asking that is because, again, if you've been paying, like, even if you haven't been paying attention this year, the baby face, which is supposed to be Cole, he starts off with taking a shot. He's going and he's doing low shots. He's going for the low blow. He's talking about hair plugs and all this other shit. Babyface, that's not a typical babyface thing. And granted, this is the alternative. Sure, maybe this is the old head in me, I guess, but that's not a typical babyface thing to do, to be the first person to do the low blow. Usually the heel does the first low blow type shot. So he does a low, like, and then you hear in the promo, like, all this random shit. And then with MJF's promo, he literally says, I opened myself up to you and you betrayed me. That is a very babyface thing to say. He looks like a heel because he looks like a piece of shit, because he kind of is. But like, if you're just listening to the words, even with knowing zero backstory, to me, Adam Cole still comes off as the fucking heel. Yeah, and that's the problem. And that's the whole problem with the segment.
It was like I said, it was way too long, way too winded, no focus. Like, I just think that we could have rehashed this one. We could have just it didn't need to be 20 minutes. It was a very raw. It was a very WWE-esque open the show. Like, Adam Cole opens the show with a 20-minute program, nigga. You're not Roman Reigns. You're not Cody Rhodes. And also, again, it was disjointed. It just didn't make any sense. Yeah. And if you were going to do it to make it better, what would have made it better is if he was in the ring with you, then you'd be able to like that would have been able to work. But doing it like just open air with nobody, with your heel not there, and then have to argue with them through like the video, kind of like defeats the purpose. But he needed to be there in person for this to like actually work.
Yeah, it was very similar to Hogan and Hollywood Rock, where Hollywood Rock shows up on the fucking screen.
Yeah. Going past that, Jericho's going after the ROH title again. He's going to challenge Mark Briscoe in a ladder match on Dynamite in a rematch. I think it's called Ladder War, which I don't know if that's a title shot ladder match. I have no idea. I've never heard of Ladder War. I'm assuming there's going to be multiple ladders based off the name. So yeah, we'll get Jericho versus Briscoe in Salt Lake next week. Show opens with the first match is FTR versus Brian Keith and Big Bill, which I think they did a good match. It was a pretty fucking solid match here. FTR is always going to give you great tag team matches. Key moment is that post match the Outrunners show up and there's hints at the Outrunners and FTR doing stuff, and they have been doing stuff on Collision. After that, we get a backstage segment with the Acclaimed. And they're cut off by MVP and Shelton Benjamin. And MVP hands Bowens a card. Says like, I'd love to we can talk more about this. Bowens doesn't want the card, but Max takes the card and puts it in his pocket. So just subtle foreshadowing for like later on. We'll see if that like comes up next week. Mercedes Moné and Aminata have a great fucking match. From the 0 hour on Wrestle Dream, they were beefing backstage. This is one of those performances I need them to run back again. Aminata has grown a long way. Mercedes is cooking with anybody that's not Britt Baker right now. And I definitely would have put this one on the match of the year list. It's not quite there yet, but it's definitely high on my list. Private Party has a promo where they congratulate the Bucks on retaining. Says that they came so close, but they want another shot. The Bucks say, hey, we were wrong about you guys being mid-carders, but, and we admit that you guys took us to our limits, but the answer is no. We won't be giving you guys another title shot, which I respect, because now you got to get back to the back of the line and, earn your way back up.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, why the fuck would you? Like, we beat you.
We beat you. Yeah, like, what, you think you can just get one of these for free? Stokely approaches them. And this is where they talk about the whole, like, they've been there since the Obama administration, like, they've been there for a long time. It hasn't done anything. And he says, everyone knows Cassidy is the single stars between the two of them. And so, kind of like throwing hints at maybe a subtle breakup or, just turmoil in between. I don't think there'll be anything of that. We get a Elite promo backstage where they're saying happy birthday to Kenny, and Jack Perry throws meat on this man's cake. Don't know why this was needed. Could have cut this from the show.
It wasn't needed at all. It's some bullshit edgelord stuff. Like,
it's like,
Kenny, unless he's returning like next week, I think. Yeah, no, I agree. This was unnecessary. We could have got a video package where it's like Kenny highlights happy birthday Kenny, and then afterwards you go into a Buck segment where they say, "Oh,"
or like an Okada bitch kind of segment. That would have been cool. Conglomeration versus Elite. Match starts off great, but the real meat of this is during this, Wheeler Yuta comes out, kicks the shit out of Orange Cassidy, and BCC kind of unfolds and chaos happens here. You got BCC, so Pac, Mox, Claudio, Yuta, Marina, and they just decimate Orange Cassidy and the Conglomerate. Like, didn't even touch the Elite, didn't care for the Elite. Mox gets on the mic and says that if anyone has any involvement with AEW, they are under attack. Once again, I don't know what the fuck that means, but
speaking of riddles, essentially, if you're employed here, which a lot of them are,
everybody's employed here,
independent contractors. Not all of them, some of them.
That is true. You say if you don't like what happened at the pay-per-view or what's happening now, this is the cost of doing business. This is interesting because also Pac is carrying around a briefcase, and we don't know what the fuck's in the briefcase. People are online saying like, "Oh, it's the belt in the briefcase," but why would he put the belt in the briefcase? Like,
I think it
doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I think it's the belt. during like some indie stuff. I don't know if it was ROH or something, but there was a callback to when Moxley and Brian were younger, where Moxley's character was like he put the title in a like a black bag, like how Crown Jewel has like that purple bag. He put it like in a black satin bag. So I think this is their version of doing something similar to where it's like it's not about holding like the title. Like holding the title means like obviously he's changing the company or whatever, but he's not going to present it like it's not, because at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about whatever change he's trying to come make or whatever. Like again, we
Right.
don't know what the fuck he's talking about because he is talking in riddles. Like
Yeah, it's a lot of detail. It's the subtle details in the fucking promos. Like some things are like, okay, we are attacking everybody who is with AEW. All right, I get that, but who is part of the attack? Who's not a part of the attack? So you're getting tidbits of it, but it's still not. It's still all very fucking vague. It's more
it's very
tiny pieces.
Yeah, it's very Fight Clubbish. It's very, again, there's so many like weird coded things that you can go to. Again, it still screams like white nationalist or MAGA type shit. But I'm not trying to put that label on them. But based off of what the inspiration's from and based off their look, it's kind of hard not to. But it's very Fight Clubbish. I don't know. They're just talking in riddles. It's just
We'll see. We'll see
we
where
have
it
to,
goes.
we have to let it play out. But
Yeah, I'm interested. You have me hooked. This is probably the first interesting story that they've gave me that could have a potential to have a really big thread to it. So I am definitely in tune with that.
real quick, I have a question. It's going to go into tangent, but whatever. But do you see the Elite? Do you think because there's a reason, obviously, that because also in later in the show, like there's a moment where the Elite are leaving, and you see Daniel Garcia and I don't remember. I don't know if it was Private Party. I
It's
don't
private
remember who it
party,
was.
yeah. It's
And they were
the
like,
promo after
like,
this, yeah.
oh, it's right after. Okay, like you didn't help, blah blah blah, whatever. It's like, bitch, you could have helped. Like, if you're going to be the quote unquote top baby face, you should have just went right out instead of like questioning the heel, two other heels. Again, just storyline stuff. It doesn't make any sense. But my question is, do you think?
Daniel Garcia was out there.
Yeah, he was out there, but I'm saying like before that, there's the moment where him and Private Party they run into the Elite in the back, and like he's like, "Oh, you're not going to help. You're not going to do all this other stuff." And then like him and Jack Perry almost kiss, which honestly, I could wait for next week, but I have at least 5 minutes for that segment. They almost kissed. That shit was weird. But my question is, do you think the Elite are going to is are we looking at, like, if we're going to compare this to WWE real quick, if BCC is the new Bloodline, or the Elite going to be the Imperium / Judgment Day, to where they're still heels, they just want to keep away from this bullshit, we don't want nothing to do with it, if you ask for our help we might help you if it benefits us, yada yada? Or do you think this is a slight way for them to turn face?
No.
Is my question to you.
No. Even for two different reasons. One is that clearly the Elite will face Private Party again, and the Private Party needs it. They need a heel, and I think that's the Elite. Second, in the potential that Kenny does return in January, which is like 2-3 months from now, he's coming after them, and Kenny won't come back as a heel. He's coming back as a babyface. So, and he's gonna get his lick back. They kicked this man in the guts while he had diverticulitis and threw him off a fucking or kicked or beat him out of the ambulance. So no, I don't see them turning babyface anytime soon. Like, nah. I think that's what Private Party's for. At least that's what I would hope. Match of the week for me was this next match, which was Lio Rush versus Shelton Benjamin. I think Shelton went out here and balled the fuck out. I was looking at this man's age. I was like, this man is 49. He looks great. He's in incredible fucking shape. I think having him going against Lio was a great test of can you move? Because Lio is out here still moving. But Sheldon, man, shout out to Sheldon for getting on the platform or getting a platform and showing people that he can still go. That was definitely really, really important to see. I don't think there were some crazy spots in here. One of them was he hopped on the apron, like kneed this man in the face. It was slightly almost a botch because he lost his balance. But the fact that this man is moving like this was definitely really fucking impressive. So match of the week for me, Shelton Benjamin, Leo Rush. Definitely go check that out if you guys haven't seen that one. After the match, you thought it was too long?
Yeah. Shelton Benjamin.
Long?
Yes.
I just want to say real quick. I didn't think it was a botch. I didn't watch the whole match. I saw some clips. I thought that shit was intentional. So if it was a botch, he did a decent job with botching and saving that spot. But I was like, oh, yeah.
Match was too long. Shelton, like, we obviously, people who are tapped in, we know what Shelton Benjamin can do. We know what he's capable of. But you're building a new star, which I also honestly. Oh, I meant to say this about the fucking Amanada match. What is the point? Okay, so if Camille is if Mercedes is the Shawn Michaels and Camille is her Diesel, her Kevin Nash, why is she not helping her win? Why is Mercedes still winning clean? What is the point of this person? Like, she's supposed to be. Like, look at what Raquel has done in just 2 weeks versus what Camille has done.
You gotta stop that, because now we're comparing the WWE to the AEW, and they're not supposed to be like that.
I'm not trying to compare the two, but I'm like, what I'm trying to say is that we're talking about heels, and we're talking about heels that have heaters, heels that have bodyguards.
Right.
The point of a bodyguard is to interfere, is to be intimidating, is to do a bunch of other stuff. Camille is not doing that. So what is the point of her? If Mercedes can win a match,
we can't look at it from that context. We're looking at it from what we know.
Wrestling is what we know. We're talking about years of wrestling.
But we know WWE wrestling. We know how they do it.
Bro, that is stuff that used to happen in WCW. It's stuff that used to happen in ECW. Stuff that used to happen in the territory
our reference
days.
Material is that of WWE. I do agree with you that as a heel, you are supposed to come out there, or a heel manager, a heel like bodyguard. You're supposed to come out there and disrupt. That's what your job is, right? But I can't keep looking at them as the same, because like you said, we're looking at Liv and Raquel, but there's two different ways that they're trying to approach it. I do agree with you that in the normal context of a bodyguard, your point is to come in there and fucking fuck over a babyface, and the heel gets more heat. I agree with that 110%. I just don't think that we can keep comparing it an A to B, because it's not an A to B.
Okay. I only use Liv and Raquel because it's a current reference, because it's literally happening at the same time. But let's just say wrestling as a broad spectrum. So, like, we're just going to change the ingredients of what a heel bodyguard does now. We're just changing it to where, like, so then again, what is the point of having a bodyguard? If you can win a match clean with zero help, what is the point of this person? Because they're not getting over, they're not getting any heat. As far as I'm concerned, Camille's B-Fab. But the only thing is that B-Fab is at least a face. She's not supposed to cheat. So, like, Camille can't get heat. So if I'm a fan, there's no reason for me to hate her as a heel. She's just there. I don't have no reason to hate her. She's not getting any heat. Mercedes is not getting any heat because she's winning clean. I mean, she's getting heat in the sense that, she's cocky and she's pompous, or whatever, but she's beating motherfuckers clean. So what is the point? Is the question.
I get it. Like I said, I agree that, like, you are supposed to do heelish things with the typical bodyguard in wrestling. Not knocking that at all. Clearly, it's like, we still want to show that Mercedes can fucking wrestle. We all know that she can wrestle. She's arguably one of the greatest women's wrestlers of all time. But you are right. And I want to say, I think it was either this week or last week, or like the week before, where Camille did get involved and she had matches on like Collision and stuff like that. Once again, we're only watching one AEW show a week, so I don't know what Camille's doing on Collision unless I go back and watch. But you are right. The point of the bodyguard is to disrupt, and she did not disrupt in this match. She just let Mercedes win clean.
But my original point before that was just something I forgot to say. But as far as Shelton goes, like, again, you're establishing a new star. Not every match needs to be 50-50. There's not a lot of squash matches in AEW. I know that's not their thing. But to go with what you literally just said, like, sometimes you got to be different. Like, there's no reason Shelton should be having a 15-minute match with the dude who, like, goes up to his belly button. Like, there was a moment in the match where MVP literally says, "Let's finish it." The match went on 4 more minutes after. For what? You're supposed to be this big bad. Like, Shelton Benjamin can literally beat up 98% of a roster in any company. He's literally beat Brock Lesnar in a straight up wrestling match before. Why the fuck is he going with someone who is fucking like 5'4", 50-50 for like 15 minutes? You're trying to establish a new character. And now he's about to fight somebody else this coming week. I think it's like AR. I don't know, because Ricochet just fought AR Fox. He's about to fight someone else this reign. No, he's about to fight Sammy Guevara, who last time we heard of him, he just got injured. We thought he was going to be written off. He's about to fight Sammy Guevara on this next Dynamite. For the fuck what? What the fuck does that have to do with anything? Reps for whom?
Swerve. They announced Swerve and him doing the October 30th or the Halloween Havoc episode. He's getting reps in. So you got to warm up. You got to get these sessions in. All right?
Benjamin, he's been warmed up.
The nigga just left. He just left.
No. Let this man get his warm-up reps in because he fights Swerve in 2 weeks on Dynamite.
Right.
So,
Which is fine.
Also with that being said, is that Lio Rush is way more credible to have, a 15-minute match. The dude has been wrestling his ass off. I don't see the issue with like having them go 15 minutes. I do understand, 'cause at the end of that match, you're right. MVP's like, yo, let's finish it, right? But maybe that's the things that Sheldon was just playing with the food and it's like, hey, like, wrap this shit up, man. You can kill him off at any given moment. He is smaller. He's not you. Maybe the whole Hurt business or Hurt Syndicate is like, we're just so used to playing with our food because we can. Because I expect Bobby to do the same thing too when Bobby shows up. Is that he's going to play with people. Like, y'all not on our level kind of thing.
That's never been in his character. To play with people.
This motherfucker was hurt locking everybody and throwing people to the side. That was definitely in his character.
Hurt locking people, that's what ended the match.
Mm-hmm. No, he was doing hurt lock segments where he was just going through, just boop, boop, get out of here.
And it ended the segment. That's not playing with your food. That's ending it.
That nigga was playing with his food.
Putting a nigga in the full Nelson and like throwing him around, that's not playing with your food because they didn't get back up. If they don't get back up, then they're not playing. Them niggas is dead. I
see both ways, but yes, okay.
I think the match was too long. Honestly, I think this match shouldn't even happen, personally. Because Leo just got signed. Shelton just got signed. Again, it's one of those things. Why do you want either one of these guys to lose? They could have fought. There's so many small guys on this roster. Shelton Benjamin could have fought anybody else.
But what if Leo joins Hurt? What if that's the angle?
And if it plays out the way, that's fine. But you still don't need a 15-minute match.
Yeah, you do your AEW. That's what you do. You wrestle matches. That's their thing.
Not every character should have that be their thing. If you're
debuting a character, how do you suppose you debut a character? Like, how would you you just do a 5-minute squash match? Like, I think it depends on the build and size of the talent for sure. But how do you debut a character?
I'm not saying that Shelton couldn't take any offense. I'm just saying it doesn't need to be 15 to 20 minutes. You're trying to make the Hurt Syndicate. I'm assuming it's going to be a Hurt Syndicate. You're trying to make them a credible threat as a faction, and that's still without even their big Bob yet. You're telling me this dude who again Shelton is fucking 6'2", and he's a fucking veteran who's been all over the world. He doesn't need to be going 50-50 in his first match. Unless the story really is Leo is going to join, which I wouldn't be upset about because Leo and Bob have history. Even then, you could still play it better.
So we'll agree that 10-minute match for the opening would have been cool. An opening debut, 10 minutes, you're good to go.
5 minutes, bruh.
No fucking way. No
5
way I'm
minutes.
getting Shelton Benjamin. I'll throw him out there for 5 minutes. No fucking way.
He was gassed. He doesn't need to be having these long ass matches. He's supposed to be the muscle. The nigga's like 6'2". He's a legit wrestler. He can legitimately beat up almost everyone on any roster. He does not need to be going 15 to 20 minutes with a nigga who's 5'3".
Get your wind up, bro. Get these reps up. Okay, you got to wrestle. Like I said, he's 49, bro. You got to get out there and wrestle. I think Bob is going to have to do the same shit too. Bob going to put fucking Dustin Rhodes in a hurt lock at some point and open the week or some shit. I don't think you just throw out Bobby Lashley versus Swerve. I think he will have to get his reps up. I think like that's just normal, bro. We got to see we got to get tape. We got to get footage. We got to see what the fuck you're doing.
Right, you can do that without it being 15 minutes is what I'm saying.
But
you
more
can
than
build
5.
incredible. Most squash matches are like 2 minutes, bro. 5 is being
squash
lenient.
Leo. I'm not squashing Leo, bro. There's no fucking way.
My whole point is it shouldn't have been Leo in the fucking first place. He just got there. Neither one of those two guys should be taking an L right now. Unless the story
Leo
is
just got signed now, but he has been wrestling in AEW for at least 2 months now, 2-3 months now, at least. Like he was wrestling AEW in August and prior to that. So Leo's been around for a while. He can take an L to Shelton. There's nothing wrong with that.
It's not that it's wrong. It's just that it's unnecessary.
After that match, MVP leaves his card inside Leo's tights, which is why I brought up the fact that Leo could be possibly one of the members. They do need a fourth. They're going to be shopping around for a fourth.
I mean, there's possibly no limit.
That's true. That's true. I'm saying a fourth. That's what I know, but they could do whatever the fuck they want.
They shop for some women too.
They did. That's true too. That he went and talked to Mercedes as well.
Also, one real quick note: they have not. MVP has went to a lot of black talent. You know which one black talent they haven't went to? Any guesses? DT, you got it. Starts with an R. It's Ricochet. Could that be Story? Maybe. It could be Story. That's all I say. I just want to throw that out.
Ricochet ain't got a card yet. Quick little Don Callis promo. He just brings in Lance Archer, introduces Lance Archer to the group, introduces Konosuke after the title win, and Kyle Fletcher's getting massive fucking heat, of course, for betraying Ospreay.
Konosuke's English was really good, and Lance Archer looked exactly like 2019 Drew McIntyre. And I know a lot of people online were making fun of him. He did make some clapbacks, which made him come off a little sensitive. But then again, some people are disrespectful. But overall, Deadass still looked like Drew McIntyre 2019.
I mean, most
should have kept. Obviously, he just should have kept the braid. The braid was. You know.
I didn't like the braids. I didn't like the intertwined red and white braid. Wasn't my thing, or the red braid. We get the Ricochet promo that we had sent in the group chat. The one where he's pointing, which was a good promo. It was growth. Wasn't great
until then.
Up until he started using his hand motions, it was all right. But basically saying that Takeshita didn't beat him, didn't beat Ricochet and Ospreay at Wrestle Dream. He beat Ospreay. So he says he came to AEW, one goal in mind was to win gold, and Takeshita screwed him out of that. And now he's giving out or has an open challenge on Collision. So I believe the open challenge was AR Fox this week. And AR Fox is a great wrestler, but not who I thought he was going to wrestle. But that's neither here nor there.
If I'm going to go for gold, let me wrestle someone who hasn't been on any television. That makes a lot.
Once again,
it makes sense.
Yeah, I don't.
It makes sense.
Reps. I mean, get your confidence up. I don't know. I don't fucking know, man. Backstage, this is where that brawl happens between Dark Order, Top Flight, and BCC. The brawls happen all around the arena. Moxie's, and this is where the whole pickup truck angle is at. Moxie's in the truck. And now we get a fired up promo from Evil Uno, who calls up the BCC. Says the Dark Order has been there since day one, and they work for AEW, not the BCC. Dante Martin then says that the BCC are going to have to fight teams like them, for the trios. They set this up for Collision. Both
Teams
of them
that
get
haven't
fucking
done
massacred.
shit. Oh my god.
Both of them get massacred at fucking Collision. And once again, like I said before, I think this is just part of the story. We'll see how this plays out, but I like the idea of them beating down these niggas who need to get their shit up. Main event was Jay White and Christian Cage. This is ties up loose ends from the trios challenges that they had because Jay White was injured while Christian was attacking fucking Bullet Club Gold. Where the biggest part of the match was Hangman coming out and also Kip Sabian having either a miscue of some sort.
It was clearly a miscue.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman went up. He's like, "Oh, it's not my time," and then he just laid back on the floor, like your parent catching you trying to get a cookie.
Funny. That's how it played out.
And
but
then
I think like,
and then they called it out, and the camera got close to him. Like, what?
I like it though. I like it. Like, no. Hey, we here now. We can't make if we don't say nothing about it. They're going to say something about it online. And that's exactly what happened anyway. But at least this time you have the memes instead of like, this is why they're botching shit and XYZ and TK is fucking up shit.
If you could ignore the fact that Adam Cole's all of a sudden a babyface, you could easily ignore the fact that this nigga popped up.
People look for the big flaws and minor flaws in AEW. But
the
anyway,
biggest flaw is the nigga. Okay. Yeah.
Point being, Kip was in the crowd. So he wasn't under the ring, and Hangman came from the ramp. So they didn't have the under the mat monitor. That
I thought he came from under the ring.
He came from the ramp, hopped up. Oh shit, this is too early. Then went back down because people were looking at the ramp as he was coming down.
Okay, I gotta relook at it.
And the spot was the finish. So I don't know where the fuck they thought they were in the match, but like they were in like the middle of the match when like that was happening. Like that was the finish of the match. Anywho, when they get the spot right, Hangman, fucking, what's the fucking move called?
Buckshot.
Yeah, he buckshots Jay White out of the Switchblade or the Blade Runner, and that sets up the win for Christian. Once again, I gotta watch Collision to see the Kip Sabian like tie-in with Christian because there's definitely, like I said, a story that's being told there, and I gotta fucking have equal opportunity fucking watch this with my wrestling so I can stay up to date. But Hangman and Jay White are beefing just from Wrestle Dream, and I don't think that's over like at all anytime soon. We're gonna finish off a SmackDown real quick, but the OTC DT will headline this one. DT, go ahead and kick us off. How does the show start?
All right, so actually, SmackDown starts about 2 hours before they begin taping. KO posts his video on his Twitter, explaining or attempting to explain his actions. Why has he done what he's done? Why did he attack Cody Rhodes? And he explained, even though he has been with the company for over 10 years. I wanted to know what y'all thought about that.
I think in light of like the KO re-signing rumors that we saw, I think he's playing off of that, that he's gonna like potentially leave. I don't think KO's going anywhere, although I would like to see it, but it's not gonna happen. I think he's like, hey, y'all don't really value me, I'll leave, kind of thing. I've been loyal to the soil for 10 years, and this is how you treat me. It's like the devalued angle. Like, if you don't like me, I'll leave, kind of thing. But that also can make a motherfucker like crash out and just spaz out too. So we could be on our way to crash out Kevin Owens, which would be fucking great too.
Well, to go off of that, I honestly think he's already at crash out Kevin Owens, and I'm gonna spell crash with a K. So it's crash out Owens already, just based off of his attack with Cody and his attack on Randy the previous week. But I like the angle. I like this in the sense to where he feels like he's being silenced. It reminds me of Sammy early pandemic / slightly after or slightly after he returned, because he was gone some of the pandemic, similar to Roman. But it reminds me of like the Liberator character of Sammy, where he feels like the man is against him, sort of. because during this video that Kevin posted, like he made a lot of sense. Like Kevin Owens, which we talked about on this pod multiple times, with and I think without DT as well, where it's like he's one of the smartest wrestlers, or is like you could tell like he's the person who looks at the screen to make sure he was betrayed or not, or he's the one where it's like you can't come out, we didn't say your name, like you're breaking the rules, like so like when he's saying like like oh like people get attacked all the time, people get blindsided all the time, and I'm the one who can't show up to work even though I belong here. Like it makes it feel real, and it makes it feel like I don't want to use the word sympathetic, but he's a justified villain in the sense to where similar to when Finn turned on Damien, and like there's reasons why they did that, like they did this, like they could still easily be the heel character, they could still do all like be whatever they portray, but there's a reason why Kevin Owens is snapping, and the fact that he's feeling like he's being silenced even though he doesn't feel like he's in the wrong is going to make him even more upset. And the best part about this that still hasn't even been touched yet, because assuming they go the route that's been predicted, the route that it seems like that's going to happen, it like he feels betrayed from Cody, sort of. He feels more betrayed from Randy, which he says in this video, towards like you chose him over me, like yeah, people say I turn on people, blah blah blah, but I wouldn't have done that to you. Like I thought we had something different. Again, it sounds like a real relationship too, which makes it also relatable. It was like I would have never done that to you. I know people said that about me, but I would have never done it. I thought we had something special. And then so imagine after he's saying that to Randy right now. Imagine what happens when he sees fucking Sammy team up with them. If that happens for Survivor Series, imagine what's going to happen to his character then. This motherfucker is definitely going to crash out. And that's what makes this shit so interesting. So that's why, like, when I was pushing back on you guys when we were talking about Cody earlier, like, Cody has so many interesting other stories down the pipeline. Like, it's like with the wrestling business, it's almost like a what have you done for me lately? Like, especially we just came off a crazy high off of crazy Roman Reign, no pun, and then we go to the new era with Cody or whatever, where it's like we're comparing, contrasting every shit. But Roman's 4 years wasn't all perfect. Like he had that feud with Cesaro, it was like like there was a couple feuds where we're like where it's like not the feud, the feud with like the feud that the champion has. Not every feud is going to be perfect. But if the crowd is still reacting to it, if we as fans, even though we're still being critical, if we're still reacting to it, it's not bad. We're not poo-pooing it, but you guys do have your particular critiques. So it's like there's so many other stories down the pipeline, and this is, I don't know, like maybe this is the foreshadowing that he resigned. There was rumors that he already did sign. They're just super keeping it secret, but who knows? As far as we know, he still has not technically resigned when I'm talking about Kevin Owens. But if he does, like, there's still super other stories down the line where it's like we're going to get him and Randy. Obviously, we're going to get him and Cody again. If Sammy does join the Bloodline again, we're going to get Sammy and KO part 8 in every single match that they fucking had. It's not even part 8; it's probably part like 14. But every single match that they've had has been different, and they've all been good. Like, so there's still a lot of stuff in the pipeline that we have an opportunity to enjoy later, assuming it plays out the way that it plays out.
I'll add that because you talked about KO saying he thought him and Randy had something different, he wouldn't betray him. He also literally just said that not even a month and a half ago to Cody. So take that for what you will. More like, doesn't matter. You can't trust his word at this point, but you can trust his actions. So cool. So show starts with Motor City Machine Gun Crew, correct? Being City, officially
Motor City
Machine Gun. Yeah, Motor City Machine Gun. Finally being unveiled. We knew they were coming. Nick Aldis mentioned that someone was coming. for La Garza last week. But in true Nick Aldis fashion, he changed his mind. So they signed officially, and he decided to make it a tornado tag match for contenders for the SmackDown Championship, for the SmackDown Tag Championships.
Wait, real quick. The change was that it's a triple threat now.
Yes,
And
trios.
Yes.
Or, yeah, triple threat, my bad.
And the second match was also a trios, which. And I was going to ask a question. I don't need to ask a question, but I'm assuming we're all okay with that. Just because, like, we got to see Pretty Deadly. I was hyped about that. We might get some other stuff.
Oh.
I definitely I have some notes, and I got some shit for DIY Street Profits Pretty Deadly. I got some notes on there.
All right, continue.
What's the opening segment? What's like the promo from the jump, DT?
So a promo from the jump is Solo and the Bloodline is what I have done.
All right, let's go with that.
Yep. So Solo and the Bloodline 2.0, they arrive. Solo comes out, forces the crowd to acknowledge him. Then says that Roman needs to acknowledge him by tonight. He talks about Jimmy attempting to run the Raw and grab Jey, how no one wants to be a part of Roman's bloodline. No one wants to help. It's his Ulafala, it's his bloodline. He's made the family stronger. And then Jay's music hits, and the crowd loses their mind. Jey comes out through the crowd, looking like an absolute superstar. Obviously, it wasn't expected because of SmackDown.
Fuck no.
No. And I have thoughts. Okay. Before we get into it, my first thought, because I saw it, because I work, so spoilers start coming out literally at 5. My first thought is, why the fuck is Jey coming out? Like, you're literally about to insert yourself, bro. Like, you're asserting, like, you had an out, and your out was minding your own fucking business. Why did you insert yourself? Now, my opinion changed based off of what he said later, like, during what's going on. My opinion instantly changed, because I was like, oh, this makes sense. But my first initial thought was, nigga, why the fuck are you here? Now you asserting yourself. Now you are about to get screwed over.
But you looked this nigga in his face and said no, and walked off on him. Like, I was like, this makes no sense to me of why you are here. Like, you look. Jimmy's like, hey, we need you. No, Jimmy. Like, on Raw, Jimmy met Jey, right? Jey was like, no, like, get out my face, bro. Like, and walked off. Why in the hell are you on SmackDown? Like,
and that was my same thing. It pans out based off what he says, which we'll
absolutely
get into. DT will get into it, but yeah, I just wanted to say my first initial thought, like that first 20 seconds, even though I was hyped, I was like, and I did see the spoil. I didn't see like the whole segment, but I saw this. I was like, oh, Jey shows up on Raw and interrupts Solo. My first thought was at work, I was like, I can't wait to watch this, but why the fuck did he come out? Now you're inserting. Now you're for sure going to lose the IC now, or my thought. I was just worrying. It's just like, bro, why did you insert yourself in this? Mind your business. But yeah, DT, continue. Sorry.
So, he comes out. He's pleading with Solo. I care about you. You're my little brother. I'm always look out for you. He's pleading with Solo. Don't divide the family. Don't do it like this. If anybody got beef with Roman, I got beef. But don't do it like this. The Ulafala is earned, not taken. Which immediately when he said that, I did think about he didn't actually fight for it. He literally showed up with it before they powerbombed Heyman through the table. Still, we don't know where he got it from or how he got it. So that's a piece there. So Jey brings that back when he says that. And then he said, there's a reason why we stayed away from them. Like, there's a reason why we stayed away from Tama, Tonga, and Jacob. Which obviously announcers and stuff have been alluding to it. They're dangerous, they unhinged. Paul Heyman has said the same thing, etc. He goes on to say, I'm not here to fight. I don't want to fight. but Jacob keep looking at me. If you keep staring at me, I'm gonna knock your ass out, which gets a pop from the crowd.
That shit was crazy. That was a big pop.
No, you got
That-
from me too.
That shit was crazy.
Solo, the reigning tribal chief that he currently really isn't, but is, puts his hand on Jacob's chest. Jacob goes back to praying to Solo, loving Solo. And that's kind of how the segment ends. Jay ends up leaving. We get the first match.
Wait, okay, real quick before we move on. Because I don't think you were part of this combo, DT, but I'm sure you heard it. Lona and I talked about this. It was right before Bad Blood, and I feel like because one of the things I said during Bad Blood, where it was like, I think this was before we saw the Georgia video. When we see the Georgia video with Roman and Cody, and we're all like, some of you guys were like, I don't want to see this tag team. And I was like, I think this is Solo actually being super smart, where he's trying to bait them into something and he doesn't think that's going to happen. And obviously it does happen, but he's like actually kind of smart. And I think this promo also furthers my hypothesis, or just, I mean, I'm not saying it's just mine. I don't think I'm the only one that said it, but I think this particular promo, and also what happens later, also what happens at the end of the show, I think this further proves Solo is actually really, I'm not going to say he's a genius. I'm not saying he's the Riddler, but he's actually cunning, and he was paying attention. He was not just the brute. He was not just the bouncer, just sitting there being silent, not paying attention. He was actually really paying attention, and I think that really shows also during the later in the night during the Roman segment with the face-to-face. But I feel like this mixed with him even asking or even trying to bait Cody and Roman to even tag team, I feel like this is showing that sure, he's one of those if we're gonna bring it to current day, he's one of those young bucks, you think you could just take everything by force, yada yada. But at the same time, low key, he's actually kind of cunning. Low key, he actually is thinking, and that's probably why we don't have a wise man character yet, because it's he's not dumb. Yes, he's still aggressive. Yes, he's still trying to take shit by force, but he's not a brute. He's not a goon. He's kind of like a Bane, almost, where it's Bane is a fucking tank, but Bane is very calculated. I'm not I don't know if he's as calculated as a Bane, but he's not stupid, is what I'm trying to say. He's actually thinking shit out. And I feel like this segment proves that, and I feel like the segment at the end of the show also further proves it.
Even the way that he was talking to the crowd before Jay came out, you can see his personality, his charisma, and his confidence of him kind of being the leader at this point. Is coming out. You know what I'm saying? Him acknowledging the fact that y'all keep trying this stuff, none of this is working. You keep running to a brick wall, there's a reason for it. Nobody wants to deal with Roman no more. So Jay, you got any thoughts?
With this particular segment, what I liked about it was at the end of the promo, he sits there and says, where is I wrote my notes? Where is it in my note? He says, oh shit, this is wrong. Is this the wrong one? Fuck, where the fuck's my notes at? I don't know. But he ends up saying the next time I see you, it's gonna be different, right? Just let him know hey, this was my warning shot to you. When I see you again, it's gonna be different. And kind of it's funny because it kind of alludes to what happens at the end of the show, to where if he sees what happened at the end of the show to Jimmy, then for sure the next time you see him, it's definitely going to be different, for sure. But overall, I thought it was a masterclass promo. I love the promo. I saw I was getting a little backlash on online, people didn't really like it, and I was I don't see anything wrong with it. I thought this was dope. I thought you kind of got Jay's motivations of what he wanted to do. He just wanted to come out and check the tempo on little bro. Hey, chill out. We ain't got to do all this. Little bro not having that. And in fact, ask him to, hey, stop calling me little brother.
Stop calling me little bro. Yep.
Call me Tribal Chief.
I'm
Tribal Chief. I'm not your little bro. We not your little niggas no more. Like that's basically what has happened. I respect it.
I saw people post the Mace clip.
We not your little niggas. He not wrong though. Like he not. We different. Other than that, like no, I'm good. I think the next match was the DIY and Profits match.
Yep. DIY Street Profits.
Wait, before we get into that, how do you guys feel about Solo trying to invite Jey into the Bloodline?
That's what he's supposed to do.
Exactly. I'm just asking.
I mean, he even said, "Hey, there's always a place for you here, and there's a place for Roman. Roman just has to acknowledge me." But if you notice, he didn't say there was a place for Jimmy.
He did not.
Well, hell no. He kicked that nigga out. Beat him up, choked him out, put him on the shelf for 6 months.
So, cool. So yeah, let's transition. Go ahead to the Triple Tornado Tag match. I don't have many notes about it. I thought it was a great match. I said yes, boy. I stood up, said yes, boy to
yes, boy.
It was like I couldn't describe the move, so I put backspring code breaker pin combo. Now it didn't go through, but the pin didn't go through. But I forgot what. Like there was a move that they both did that I was shocked. I didn't know they had that in their bag.
Oh, okay. This is what I was talking about earlier, because I wrote a note about the. Oh no, I know. Yes, but no, I know what you're talking about. Pretty Deadly's awesome. Yes, boy. But this is what I was talking about with crowds, because this is South Carolina. Boo, by the way, you're no Petey Pablo, but no, like the fucking crowd was hating on Pretty Deadly. They were like, "You look stupid." I'm like, "What the fuck?" They dripped out. What the fuck? What do you mean they look stupid?
Are we bashing?
It's the Bible Belt.
The red state of South Carolina and how they're reacting to two men dressed like
in lace.
Are we?
Yeah,
we're mad at the connection not being there in South Carolina.
Yes, boy. What the fuck? It's Pretty Deadly. We talk about Kit Wilson. We talk about Elton Prince.
Them niggas was in the crowd like pretty gay, nigga. Like they didn't care about none of that, bro.
And that's not okay. That is not okay.
It's not.
They don't gonna vote this year, you guys.
For sure. For sure. Don't
but
be
no,
like
that that made me upset. I was like, what the fuck? You guys like we haven't seen them on TV in a minute. Like we should be like they are really talented. I mean, that's just me nitpicking, but no, like the crowd was stripping. Like, what do you mean they look stupid? That's their fucking everyday outfit.
Yeah, and
it's similar shit that similar shit that Jeff Hardy wore though. Come on now, Jeff Hardy wore the same shit, but it was a fishnet.
Nah,
really?
I like it. I like the reach. That was a great reach. But don't call it foul.
I'm a Hardy fan, bro. I was a Hardy stan. I'm telling you, he wore something very similar, but it was fishnet, my nigga.
He did have the fishnet, but he had like the long baggy jeans and was definitely more emo than fishnet.
You still have a crop top and long hair.
They had
and dye and piercing. Whatever. All right. Anyway, I also didn't take like notes of like the particular moves, but I also thought this was a really good triple threat match. I still love the line. You didn't like this match?
No. I didn't like. No, I didn't like the finish.
It's probably
because now we gotta play the card right this whole double finish shit.
Whoa. Okay. All right, DT, finish it because I have a counter to or rebuttal. I go whatever. Well, I mean, yeah, finish it. Talk, nigga.
We got Angelo Dawkins and Johnny. Nigga, you keep
can't
talking.
Tell this nigga froze or not.
You got.
I can't see your face.
You got Angelo Dawkins and Johnny wrestling. They tag up in between the match. They're putting in some great work, and then it ends with the finish, which, of course, nobody's gonna like. It was like a double pin up, and Montez pins the illegal guy. And once again, DIY's ring awareness has saved them yet again. And I wrote that their ring awareness was impeccable. It's unfortunate that that's how the match ended, but Jessica called it right, which kind of pissed me off a little bit. Not gonna lie.
But keyword was ring awareness. We're sitting here looking at Street Profits like they don't have ring awareness. Like they knew who was like the hot tag or the hot man in, right? Like they're experienced enough to know like what's going on here. And then we end up with a double pin, and I'm okay with it. I'm cool with it, right? It's just more so like, why? Like, why do we need to do it that way? And I get it, because you're gonna do Profits probably gonna have some like interruption in like next week's match or of some sort. I would think, but like
interrupt.
They'll be a part of it in some way. I don't think Profits run for the tag belts ends here. And if it does, I definitely got some fucking questions. But yeah, I didn't like the finish. I thought the match was great. That the like everything was cool up until like the end. That part I was like, I'm over.
Okay, well, I guess I am the odd person out. I liked the finish, and I liked the finish because it was the smartest version of that kind of finish that I've actually seen. Because we've seen similar finishes throughout like the years in different companies, and it's usually confusing and it's usually like, but like this one made sense because, like, for example, I was watching it because I was cooking. I was watching it from the kitchen. My wife was watching it on the couch. I was seeing the whole thing, and this is me seeing no spoilers. I saw the tag that Kit did to Elton. I was watching the whole spot. They try to do like a double suplex. Some shit happens. Kit leaves the ring. Bing, bam, boom. Fucking Montez pins Elton, but they do the fucking meet in the middle in Ciampa pins Kit. It visually made sense to where, like, visually it was not confusing. Usually visually it is confusing, but to me, like, this wasn't confusing, so I enjoyed it. And also I enjoyed it because I guess what I'm saying is I enjoyed it because it wasn't confusing, because usually they are confusing to where it's like, for example, like the fucking the first time Randy and Gunther, at Crown Jewel, where it was like, what, like, where, like, it was like a mixed thing, and like they actually had to talk about it, and it ended up becoming a story, but like that was confusing to where it divided the fans and divided a bunch of people. To me, it made sense, and it didn't make the Profits look weak because they technically got a pin. They just got a pin on the illegal man.
Oh no, fuck that. Nigga, what are we talking about?
Because because they lose the match, but they're not getting pinned. It's the same thing to why, like, when you add people in a triple threat and you don't want the two teams to lose because you don't want the two teams to look weak, you pin the fucking weaker team. What happened is that both strong teams pinned the weaker team, but only one of those niggas was legal because it's a triple threat. It's just dumb rules, but Street Profits don't look weak. They lost off a technicality, so they don't look weak.
When we had the same conversation 2 weeks ago about the Konosuke triple threat, what was it? It's the same thing.
Will looked weak. Will took the pin.
But we were protecting somebody, right? We were protecting Ricochet and Konosuke in this moment, right?
Right,
but one of them ended up being the champion. I'm just saying there's not that big of a difference between the two.
There is okay, well, I'm not going to say there is a big difference, but there is a difference because Konosuke was randomly added to this match. That match. Konosuke was someone who was never in the title picture. He was someone who, again, was he was added to that match randomly because they decided to end the first match, which that first match never should have happened. They ended it in a draw, then they restarted it and ended in a DQ, and then all of a sudden, oh, it's a fucking triple threat. And then what I said on the pod was that I feel like they added Konosuke in the match because they don't want Will and Ricochet to lose, so he's the person who's going to take the pin. I got swerved. Everyone got swerved technically because no one thought Konosuke was going to win that match. Let's be for real. No one thought Konosuke was going to win that match. Will took the pin, which I'm going to argue for sure. Will shouldn't have took that pin. He's already lost 7 times this year.
You can say the same about the Profits. They shouldn't have been the one to take the loss here.
But they didn't. They took the loss, but they didn't get pinned. They lost
But
on a technicality.
They're the ones walking away without the fucking morale of them. They're walking away with no fucking boost. They didn't have their music played. They fucking lost the match.
Right, but
I'm just saying it's the same thing, bro.
It's not. Next week they could say the same thing Ricochet just said. I didn't lose. I wasn't the one that got pinned. I thought we got the pin. They could say the same
point. Is that
but that
it's the
isn't
same thing, bro? It's the same thing. They can come back next week, like you said, like Ricochet say, hey, we didn't lose. You didn't pin me, right? Because we're the protected wrestlers in this, right? They can say that, but I'm saying at the same time, you still walked away from this match, and the Profits for sure have walked away from this match as like, damn, we are losing matches and losing spots for what reason, right? Why are we doing this?
What is okay? I got confused now. What is your argument then? If
My
we're talking
argument
about
is it's the same shit. I'm just saying you looked at me like I was crazy when I said, "Yo, like it's cool to have Konosuke come in and do this match." The double pin was weird, but it set up something bigger, which was Konosuke getting the fucking win, right?
But that was never part of this. Sure, but again, no one thought Konosuke was going to win. Also, he shouldn't have been added to the match because it was random, and also the Will and Ospreay back. My main complaint was the ending, the booking. It ended in a draw. They restarted it and ended in a DQ. That makes zero sense. This match ended with a definitive winner. We thought the other team, the other team thought they had a win, but they pinned the wrong guy. But they don't look
Which doesn't
weak in
make
it.
any sense based off of the facts of that they are the experienced tag team. The Street Profits who's been wrestling tag team wrestling for fucking 6-7 years now. They should not be like, oh, we don't know who wasn't tagged in. That's bullshit to me.
One of them was outside of the ring, and one of them was on the, I think, on the fucking ring post. DT, you have to, this is why we're a trio. Break a tie. Does it make semi sense or not?
I'm gonna
so
tell
we can
you,
move on.
I'm gonna tell you that from somebody who was literally watching the match.
We all watched the match.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I didn't know that Montez was pinning someone who was illegal. And it wasn't until they went back and showed it and Jessica explained it. So it's a bucket for the Street Profits to literally come back and say, hey, we didn't lose. We didn't get pinned.
All right, let's move on. I don't even know what side you're on based off your argument. I don't even know what side I am on. I don't even know what side Loner's on. All I'm saying is Profits don't look weak. So they
don't.
The Pretty Deadly was added into the match so that DIY could win, but the Profits don't take a pin loss or a ring or a submission loss. They took a loss, quote unquote, but they didn't get pinned or they didn't get submitted. So that was the point of it. But DIY still wins, obviously.
All right, DT.
I think we'll see them come back. Yeah.
We're gonna like kind of go through this real quick because we already like are over like the 3-hour mark, which I've been trying to keep the pods pretty fucking compact. So I'm gonna take it over here real quick, and then we're gonna co-do it. All right. From here we get a promo from Nia, or no, actually, there's like an OG Bloodline promo.
Roman and Jimmy.
Roman pops out. Yeah, Roman and Jimmy come out, or they're arriving in the arena, and Jay's there. Jimmy's surprised that Jay's there. Is like he holds his hand like, hey, what you doing over here? Does not get a handshake back, which is kind of cold blooded.
It's been happening.
But as he's as he's walking away, man, he ain't got acknowledged at all. I mean, he did get acknowledged last week. I'll take that back. But Jimmy or Jay sees Roman, walks away. Roman grabs his arm and then tells him like, hey, I'm proud of you. Which that took them the emotional strings right there. That was great.
It was manipulative.
You think? Ooh, I've never looked at it like that, but you could be right.
I think it plays into the finish. To me, it's manipulative. But
You
yeah,
got
DT after
go
that,
ahead.
we get
Go ahead.
the night. No, you lead in the show. You lead SmackDown. After that, we get the Nia promo. Tell us what happens real quick. Come on.
All right. So yeah, Roman says I'm proud of you. The crowd erupts, but he also says under that we all are. So talking about the family. Jay looks at him,
True.
stares at him. It's like, man, no yeet. Walks off. So that was essentially Jay saying that's not an apology. Like, fuck what you talking about. Roman looks to Jimmy. See, I told you. Come on. So Roman doesn't apologize. Roman thinks he could just say whatever, and Jay's just going to jump back on board, etc. This leads to them having to build later on. All right, we got Nick Aldis in the room with Nia while she's on the phone with Tiffy. Tiffy says she's sick. So the match is going to get canceled. Nick Aldis then says no, the match is not going to get canceled. We'll find somebody to tag you with. In comes Indy and the Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae says, Nick Aldis says, yeah, why not have you one champion tag with another champion? So they're acknowledging the Speed Championship. Nia looks at Candice LeRae and then says, you better pull your weight and do your part. If not, I will end you, and it will take me less than 3 minutes. Another Speed reference.
Real quick, before that, Nia has some of the perfect comic timing that I've ever seen. Because like Nia's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. After Candice is like, I could do that. Like, because Candice herself references that she is the Speed champion. And Nick is like 2 champions. He's like, I'm not gonna do that. And he's like, to me, it smells like money. And she instantly says, no, that's my perfume. It was the perfect comedic timing.
That was a bar.
It was so good, and no one broke character, and it was so quick. I was like, "Yep, she could be in the movies too." Like it was perfect comedic timing. That was my only comment. I'm done.
Yeah. So next match, Piper Niven versus Lash Legend. Very impressive match from the both of them, but specifically highlighting Lash Legend. She ends up getting her first win on SmackDown. She had a great finisher, great strength. Thought she had decent pacing because there were some spots where they weren't quite on the same page, but she did all that with a 24-inch enclosure bust down. So shout out to her for the long weave.
Let's go.
This nigga is stupid, bro. This nigga is on some nut shit, man. That's funny.
Shout out to the Bushi Baddie.
We in the curb.
I
hate myself. I'm sorry.
Really excited to see her get a W. This man said the club. Oh my god.
Oh my fucking god, bro. Oh shit.
As it transitioning from the end of the match into the Roman promo, there was a fan, shout out to this fan, had a sign that said, I drove 5 hours to skip commercials and see Cody Rhodes. That fan is a genius. That fan is a genius because throughout this entire show and the last 3 WWE shows, it has been picture in picture on damn near every match. So smart fan. Jimmy pops up, scares the shit out of Roman.
That was great. I'm trying to relax you. It's a wise man spot, but you're not the wise man.
We get the KO video online, which I didn't know they were going to play this, but they played the entire video from what we talked about earlier from KO online. And then after that, we get Randy talking to Aldis. We get Randy talking to Aldis because he wants that match with KO. And then Aldis is like, it's not up to me. It's not for or whatever. And then Aldis essentially says it's up to the higher's up. So
it's above him.
The call from above. I was like, who is above making calls higher than him? And then and Triple why H, would why would Triple H want to stop this from happening?
I don't know. That's what makes the story interesting.
Or if it's not Triple H, it's still Cody's. It's still Cody tied to this, Why would somebody?
Boss? But he's not the higher up. He's not Aldis's boss. If it's not Triple H, then it's The Rock.
Yeah, but all this would say Triple H. They've been in the ring together. They've been around, like, like...
All this is not wrestled Triple H before.
No. I mean, like, they've been announcing, like, titles together. They've been cordial with each other. You would have no problem saying Triple H.
Right. But if we're talking about whether we're talking about real life or whether they're talking about kayfabe, Triple H is that person. He is the substitute Vince. Obviously, he doesn't own the company. It's TKO and like Nick Khan or whatever. But if we're talking about story wise, the only other person it could be, if it's not The Rock, who calls everyone his boss and he's the final boss, then it has to be Triple H. So
right, which
that's what makes the story.
Agree.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. That's what makes the story interesting. Is like, why would Triple H say no? And then we're probably gonna get a story where it's like Triple H cares about Randy, and there was that time, Triple H, he fucking fucked over Roman / Seth, and that's when KO won the Universal. Maybe he likes KO. There's an opportunity for a good story, is what I'm saying. But I feel like it has to be Triple H. There's no other like legitimate person.
Well, we'll find out. In a
we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out.
Okay.
So I'm gonna just call them the Motor City Club. They get a quick win. At least it felt like a quick win. Most of their match was picture in picture yet again. So they get the dub there. Then they cut
to Lopez looked very nice.
Quick little talk or quick little pop about Motor City Machine Guns. What I saw from them is what the tag team division needs, right? Which is like experience. Like you can definitely tell these dudes are very comfortable being tag team partners. They're very experienced, and I don't mean like the Profits experience. I mean, like, you guys are veterans. You guys been doing this shit for a really long time.
Forever.
No, if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have a lot of the current tag teams. Like, we probably wouldn't have the Bucks and a couple other people. Like,
I could see that. I wasn't familiar with their game. I didn't know how far like their game ran, but as watching them in the ring, I was like, oh shit, like this makes sense. This is a good fucking pull. This is great to have around these younger guys and kind of like develop, your tag team division. I was highly impressed with what they had going on, and it made me even more excited for when the moment that we do get a Lucha Bros in WWE. Like running this at like a Mania or like a SummerSlam is gonna make that bitch pop, bro. Like Lucha Bros, Motor City Machine Guns is instant fucking money to me.
Well, rumor is that Motor City Machine Guns agreed to go to NXT to like teach some of the younger people, and then obviously, Lucha Bros were going to go to main card. But ever since the whole TK, adding
their
injury time or whatever, that like they were like, oh, we'll call them up. I mean, yeah, instead of sending them NXT, we'll just call them up because they're trying to revamp their tag team. Like, they've been revamping their women's tag team, which we haven't gave that much credit to, which we'll talk about maybe next week. But like they're trying they're starting to try with the men's tag team on both sides, like adding War Raiders, adding them, and then actually like making stories and shit. We'll see, but yeah, it's early. But yeah, rumor is they got the main roster call because Lucha Brothers didn't come as fast as they did.
And I also have like a nitpick too at the same time. Like I love the fact that they're there, but we also find out later that they get a number one contender match with DIY. And a while back, this is my point about like you can just create opportunities at any given time. I won't go into depth, but I'm just saying like you can make this happen without having like storylines attached to it, just by putting the talent in there and letting the talent work for themselves. I get it that Motor City Machine Guns are a very talented group, a very talented team, but once again, we can make this happen out of thin air, And of course, the DIY match next week is going to hit like crack because it is fucking DIY, and I expect them to have a great fucking match as well. But it's like they're just now debuting and they're getting, into like the title picture and whatnot, and that's all my point is.
Well, it's a new team. They're just giving a push. It doesn't mean they're going to win. They could, which wouldn't be bad. Like Bloodline don't need the titles, but like it's the way that I was looking at it. sorry to interrupt GT, but the way I like, just to piggyback off of what I was already saying, the way that I was looking at it is like, this is them trying with this plus what's happened on Raw with the War Raiders and like what's going on with those teams. Also, like, this is them trying to rejuvenate the
Yeah, the
men's tag
resurgence.
team division as a whole. And them being a new team, them being a team that is very popular in the indie scene that people like, that have liked for a long ass time, and the fact that they're old and they can still work that way, like it wouldn't be bad to put it on them soon, especially if it helps elevate the division as a whole. That was my thing, but yeah.
What we got, DT? We got the Naomi Bailey versus Candice and Nia.
We've got Nia. What? Naomi standing up and twerking on Nia's back, which was funny.
Definitely happened.
That was a good spot.
And Nia gets mad at that and then commences to lay the wood. So beats the shit out of Naomi for that. My immediate question was, has Bailey been nerfed? That is a question. Has Bailey been nerfed?
Nerfed or elevating talent?
Still nerfed. Because even like, to me, if you can't elevate, I mean, let me not say you can't elevate Naomi, but her and Naomi been going back and forth for the last 2-3 months, and it's been like a friendly rivalry type situation. Who's gonna get to fight now? Who's gonna get the belt, etc. Oh, I'm gonna invite you to the club and to the spot, and you can get a title shot after I win. Like, so you don't really need to elevate Naomi like that, because to me, she's been having great matches since she's been back. She's been in the picture with the main card women for a while since she's been back. So who is she?
Don't let Black Twitter find you say that shit.
Well,
look, the answer to your question is what Loner pretty much said. Like, no, like Bailey's not nerfed. She's just slightly changing positions. It's one of those things. Like, even if we didn't care, even if we thought her reign was a little lackluster or whatever, like her last year. I mean, her whole career, but her last year has been very important. Like that moment at Mania, like to me, that match with her and Io is still one of my best matches this year. Whether it's only the female match or whether you just say match of the year in general, to me, it's still in both of those categories. Bailey's still highly important. She was the MVP also during the COVID year. I wouldn't say she's nerfed, but we're just slightly changing positions. We're trying to now. It's like Naomi's turn to where it's like, because like when Naomi first showed up, people were like, "Oh, why did she do this?" Blah blah. It's like, well, it's too soon. But like we're like, there's stories. Like things got to play out. As of right now, like Bailey's still fucking strong. She took the pin in a tag match against someone who she actually really respects. There's been videos coming out with her interview with Cody where it's like she wants to elevate Candice LeRae. And Candice LeRae is a fan favorite and indie talent she's a favorite that people have loved for many years in different promotions or whatever. This is like they're friends. She wanted to elevate her. I don't know. It is what it is. So the answer to the question is I wouldn't say she's nerfed. She's just slightly changing positions. Is all. People got to take L's. Like our favorites can't always win. It's wrestling.
I had a question. I was like, does Candice save Nia from a Tiffy cash in? Is Candice now going to be like the henchman around Nia because you're useful to me?
No.
I'm gonna say no. I gotta let it play out. If we see them hang up, because she still seems very scared of her, but also as a heel, it's like obviously you want to. If you're the smaller person, like if you're 5'4" and you have a juggernaut next to you, obviously you want to be friends with the juggernaut. You want to play up to it, but yeah, I feel like we got to see it play out. So I'm gonna say no at the moment.
The answer is no, because Nia showed nothing but disgust for Candice throughout the whole match, and then even at the end when she got the win, she was disgusted that she went over and got the win, or at least showed it. Because Nia is supposed to be the stronger one. She's a champion. She messed up her spot, etc. After that match is over, we get a backstage promo with Nick Aldis. He's essentially saying that the rivalry between Andrade and Carmelo is so hot, blah, blah, blah. They can't seem to settle it, that he's going to import a special guest referee. Camera pans, and it is, you guessed it, L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he lets them know in L.A. Knight fashion that they think that they're up for an opportunity for this belt if they win, but they're not. They're actually up for an opportunity to get smacked back to factory settings. So watch your tone.
Bars.
The best
Bar.
real quick, the best bar of this, the best part is the very beginning, to where it's like when the camera pans to him, he's like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Yep.
I have no reason to be here. I already beat both of these motherfuckers. But you asked for me, so here I am. And you think you're gonna get it? Nah. Like no. But Deadass is like, why am I even doing this? And I kind of agree with it. Like, obviously, you want him on the card. You want him to be seen. Like, he has to be shown. Like, he's one of the top baby faces in this company. He's super popular, and he's also holding a title. But the fact that we had the fucking Seth, Drew, and Punk special guest referee, the fact that we just had the Punk and Trick Williams and Ethan Page referee, I feel like having this referee match is overkill personally, but it is what it is.
Have we gotten the triple threat between Carmelo, Andrade, and LA Knight yet?
No, and I feel like this might lead to that.
Yeah, that's where this is going. Somebody's
But I
going to
feel
feel
like-
robbed in Game 7,
Yeah.
or LA Knight's going to interfere in some kind of way. Somebody's going to hit him, and then BFT, and now we get a triple threat. I don't think there'd be a clean win in 7. Or a clear winner in 7. I'll say that.
No, this might be the first time we ever get a repeat of the 1, 2. It doesn't matter if I count. I feel like
I was just finna ask that shit too. I was waiting to ask that shit. I got it written down. Ah, you motherfucker. Well, great.
Because I know. Oh, my bad. I apologize for knowing you,
Great
DT.
minds think alike. Great minds think alike.
I think this, if that happens, I think this might be the closest moment. I think all three of us might be right. I feel like this is some bullshit. I feel like Loader, like what he said, is going to end in some bullshit, and it's going to probably do what you just asked, or what your question was.
Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, he's
gonna be the
tribe. He's probably gonna. Oh God.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
And then I'm not gonna lie. After this, I have no more notes, which means that there was a Bloodline promo to end the story.
He says a bunch of stuff, and it seems like he's going to acknowledge Solo.
Yeah.
Solo comes out, and they have a conversation, and essentially Roman's like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to fix this? And Solo's like, you got to acknowledge me. Roman acknowledges him. He's like, fine, I acknowledge you. I acknowledge you. All right, cool. And Solo's like, nah, I don't like the way you said that. Or essentially, I need you to acknowledge me as your tribal chief. And then that's when Roman snaps, essentially, because he's contemplating it. He does the Roman facial expressions, hits you with the De Niro's eye squint. And like, yeah, so it was like, or else, and he's like, or else what?
Or else what?
And so, and this is why I said what I said earlier. Tours, like, I think this was Roman trying to manipulate, like, and I feel like this is why Jey said no yeet. Like, I think Jey is very aware. Like, even though Roman is coming off more humble by the week, he still think he's the tribal chief. Like him doing that quick acknowledgement. It's like when, like, it's a moment where, we're like, your girl's like, just apologize. Like, fine, I'm sorry. And it's like, but what are you sorry for? And it's like, I don't know. Like, like again, Solo has been paying attention. To me, this shows Solo's like cunningness. He's like, he knew Roman was bull. This is the way I'm taking it, and you guys can go after. But this is the way I took it. It was like Solo knew Roman was bullshitting. And this is why he was like, nah, I didn't like the way you said that, my nigga. Like, you need to
Solo.
acknowledge me as your tribal chief. And they're almost like, or what? Like, it's like, no, like, to me, that proved Jay.
Yeah.
To me, that proved Jay's point. Like, that's why Jay's not fucking with it, because Jay knows, like, yes, it's about the Ulafala. It is about, like, it's about that, but Roman still thinks he's the tribal chief. He still thinks he run the shit, but it's like, dude, you don't have the Ulafala, you don't have the title. All you have is Jimmy right now, and Jimmy's fucking with you. And Jimmy, like, you acknowledge Jimmy right now, but you're still not humble enough. You still don't fully understand the grasp, the cusp, the fucking of the situation, my nigga. Like you, like, no, you're still in that your king madness, your king syndrome, where you still think you run shit. And that's the way I took it. And like Solo was like, nah, bro, I'm not fucking with that. And then we get the beat down. We get another fucking beat down.
Well, it ends. It's been ending the same for like the past like 4 weeks, like a Bloodline in some way, form, or fashion whooping somebody's ass. There were some key moments in like this promo that I did have noted after I found everything. But he was like, you know, they're divided and broken. Everything they went through in the spring, everything they lost in the summer. He's told his dad that he could fix this. All he wants to do is put them back in the promised land. He wants titles around their waist, paydays coming from the heavens. He wants their family to be priority, and that's what leads into like he told Solo that he can fix this. So like he's bigging it up, like yo, we was living it, like we was them niggas. I'm trying to get us back to being them niggas. But even in that also sounds manipulative to where like, let me just run the show. We can have this. We can have it all popping again. You know, like that in itself is a very manipulative like part of the promo. Like when it was, we had it all. Like let me fix this. I'll acknowledge you. You'll get me back to Lafala. We'll be back there. But the thing is, Solo don't want to do it, bro. He's
because it comes off very disingenuous. It's very a la of what happened in the Hell in a Cell when fucking Roman starts fucking crying and then he fucking chokes out Jimmy and makes Jay quit.
Every time he gets in the ring with Solo, right, and that fucking Ulafala comes off, he goes and picks it right back up. This is the second time, right? The first time he picks it up, he puts it on his neck, he gets kicked. This time he finds it, he puts it on his neck, gets low blowed. Like every single time, he cannot let that necklace go. He has to go get it.
And it's the way it like always falls off of him, like this type, like it low blowed, like the way he leaned down, it was supposed to fall off naturally. Like he slightly tucked it or picked it off, but like it's again, it's like it's very a la of fucking when fucking Thanos gets the fucking gauntlet, not only in a in game, but like during during that segment of Affinity War, like when he gets it and he feels powered up, and then that's when Iron Man does the fucking pickpocket, and it's like that pump up, that like feeling of like, oh, I finally got this shit. It's all for nothing. It's very similar to that, and it makes the character just like, again, like he's not fully humble to himself. And also, I want to add, like the other week, I want to say it was last week. It was the week after. Well, it was the week after Bad Blood. It was like Roman's going to talk about what happened with The Rock. He never mentioned that shit. We still don't know where The Rock is at. Obviously, we can guess where The Rock is at, but there is still like that whole technical big question mark. Like this saga, this story, it's we have so much.
I think you can't really acknowledge Rock yet until we finish this War Games angle, right? Because that's just what's going to be like the pinnacle of like Mania. So you got to get through this, like we call this the War Games saga, which is going to lead into the final boss saga. I think we'll see Rock at Survivor Series for sure.
Yeah, but and I was thinking about it too, because like the way I see War Games is kind of like the way I see like Secret Wars and like Marvel or whatever. But like, okay, like assuming Jay and Sammy join, they're still on a separate show. Even if they win or lose, it's probably going to be like Cody, to where they do branch off to other shit. And if they don't, sure. But at the moment, you have to assume that they're going to branch off to other shit. So then, like, still, what is Roman going to do? Like, Roman still has a fucking empire to go against / Jimmy. I don't know. There's just a lot of storylines. There's a lot of questions, and again, like that's why I feel like there is no plateau here yet.
You think there's
Especially
gonna
if
be a shakeup? My bad to cut you off, but
no,
do you think there's gonna be a
I'm done.
shakeup on the Netflix day? Like, you think Bloodline splits or one member of Bloodline comes over to Raw? I doubt that we'll see Roman not on that episode of the Netflix deal. I think he'll definitely be there.
I don't see Jay dropping the title anytime soon. So
And that nigga dropping that shit next
I don't
week.
think he's dropping it.
Jake Fatu showing up next week.
We could put some on it.
I ain't putting shit up.
We could put $5 on it. I think if the Bloodline 2.0 shows up next week during the match, I think Jimmy is going to show up to try to have Jay's back to prove to him, hey, bro, I was wrong, blah, blah, blah. Jay keeps the title. I don't think Jay's losing the belt.
Or I like that because this is also how you get Sammy too. Like, if Bloodline shows up on Raw next week, you could rope in Sammy somehow, some way. It's going to be uneven, right? You're going to get Jay jumped by the three of them, and then you get Sammy coming out, or you get Jimmy coming out, still at like uneven numbers, and then you can have Sammy come out. And that's kind of how I see it.
Yeah, if he comes out, that pop is going to be crazy.
And with that, people, we're going to get out of here. It's been real. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Once again, shout out to everybody listening from all the different sites. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, the YouTube Shorts. Y'all blowing it up. TikTok, y'all blowing it up. We will add some more clips. Apparently, you guys like those ones a lot. But yeah, we're going to get out of here. It's been real. The Lonely One. We out of here. Peace out.
Too sweet.